For the record, my name is Brian Worrell, District 4 City Councilor, and I am the Chair of the Boston City Council Committee on Ways and Means. Today is May 16th. Big shout out, big happy birthday to my sister. This hearing is being recorded, is also being live streamed at boston.gov/city-council-tv and broadcast on Xfinity Channel 8, RCN Channel 82, and FiOS Channel 964. The Council's budget review process will encompass a series of public hearings that begin in April and run through June. We strongly encourage residents to take a moment to engage in this process by giving testimony for the record. You can do this in several ways. 1, attend one of our hearings and give public testimony. We will take public testimony at the end of each departmental hearing and also at 2 hearings dedicated to public testimony. The full hearing schedule is on our website at boston.gov/council-budget. Our next scheduled hearing dedicated to public testimony is Tuesday, May 28th at 6 p.m. You can give testimony in person, here in the chamber, or virtually via Zoom. For in-person testimony, please come to the chamber and sign up on the sheet near the entrance. For virtual testimony, you can sign up using our online form on our Council Budget Review website or by emailing the committee at ccc.wm@boston.gov. When you are called to testify, please state your name and affiliation, residence, and limit your comments to a few minutes to ensure that all comments and concerns can be heard. 2, email your written testimony to the committee at ccc.wm@boston.gov. And 3, submit a 2-minute video of your testimony through the form on our website. For more information on the City Council budget process and how to testify, please visit the City Council's budget website at boston.gov/council-budget. Today's hearing is on dockets number 0670 through 0672. Orders for the FY25 operating budget, including annual appropriations for departmental operations for the school department and for other post-employment benefits. Docket number 0673 through 0675. Orders for capital fund transfer appropriations. Docket number 0676 through 0678. Orders for the capital budget, including loan orders and lease purchase agreements. These matters were sponsored by Mayor Michelle Wu and referred to the committee on April 10, 2024. The focus of this hearing will be discussed FY25 budget for the Office of Neighborhood Services and Veteran Affairs, including Boston 311 and the Office of Civic Organizing. Today, I'm joined by my council colleagues in order of arrival, Councilor Erin Murphy, Councilor Ed Flynn, the Vice Chair of the Committee, Vice Chair Pepin, and Councilor Julie Mejia. Today's panelists consist of Commissioner Santiago from the Office of Veteran Services, Director of Operations Giambuso from the Office of Veteran Services, and then the next panel, I'll introduce them when they join us. Office of Veteran Services, the floor is now yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair Worrell, Vice Chair Pepin, City Councilors, for this opportunity to be able to speak on behalf of the City of Boston veterans. As you have stated with me is Bella Giambuso. She is our Director of Operations and Human Resources. And in the shadows is Dan Giuffre, who is our new Director of Policy and Outreach. So if you could bear with me in the next few minutes, we're going to be utilizing the following slides, where I would like to guide you all into a snippet of the world of Boston Veteran Services. As you can see here, the first slide is our lead slide, where we have what is our vision statement, where we recognize, engage, and advocate for all our veterans and their families by connecting them with the services and resources they earn. So this mission is what we have, and is for us to connect our veterans and their family members with the benefit, services, and resources, like I've said, that they have all earned. We strive to find innovative ways to support veterans, service members that live in our communities, and their families to live healthy and thriving lives. So it is important to have this office to be a one-stop shop and bridging those gaps for all our veterans and their families who call Boston home. Next slide? Oh, there it is. So here on next slide, like I said, this is our vision and our mission statement. But also, as you see here, is our team. Of course, it starts with myself being the commissioner. Right now, we do have 3 positions that are vacant. One of them is a deputy commissioner position that just recently became vacant, as well as a veterans benefit specialist who processes the claims, and Chapter 115 benefits for our veterans, and the transition and integration advocate, who also recently became vacant in our office. So we have a staff of 15 total. Right now, we're staffing at 12, sorry. Yeah, -3. Looking at our next slide, just wanted to quickly go over some of our programs and services. So right now, our main mandate is that of Chapter 115, Mass General Law, Chapter 115, which is to assist our low-income veterans and their families, as well as veterans experiencing homelessness. The Financial Assistance Program acts as a resource of income for our veterans who, like I said, are experiencing homelessness and are at risk. These benefits also include military burial assistance, subsidies for medical expenses, and also decorations of veterans' graves and hero squares for Memorial Day, which, as we all know, is going to be at the end of this month. Another program that you see on there is the Bridge the Gap program. This is Boston's program, and it allows us to enhance and expand the office's reach and service to all our veterans and their families in Boston outside of Chapter 115. This is going to create a pathway for more opportunities for our veterans. It allows us to continue that for their families as well, and it will create that pathway, and it extends the assistance already based on Chapter 115. Under the Bridge the Gap program is our grants program. It's our Bridge the Gap mini grants program. And this program is an initiative by the Mayor's Office of Veteran Services aimed at providing financial support to organizations dedicated to improving the quality of life for our veterans, our service members, and their families here in Boston. The grants aim to address gaps in services and support after the allocation of federal or state benefits. The focus areas are for projects and programs that include housing, transportation, health and wellness, upward economic mobility, legal services, and educational and historical programs. We are currently accepting applications for this mini grant, which is up to $10,000. The deadline for this application is next Friday, the 24th. At that point, we will be looking at the applications, and by mid-June, we will be awarding those who have applied and those that are approved after we review all of the grants. We have allotted up to $200,000 for this mini grant program, and again, it's a program for us to again bridge that gap of those services for our veterans here who call the city of Boston home. Some of the other programs and services that we administer, as you can see there, is the Welcome Home Bonus. Welcome Home Bonus is in partnership with the State Executive Office of Veteran Services. It's a bonus for veterans who have served or currently are serving in the armed forces following September 11th of 2001. Individuals may apply regardless of active or discharge status. If you are a family member of a deceased veteran of this war, you may also be eligible for this bonus. Some of the other programs, as you know, is the Department of Veteran Affairs Compensation and Pension, which, as we all know, gives each veteran a disability rating, which will determine what compensation they'll get from the VA. So we work very closely with the Department of Veteran Affairs and with the Executive Office of Veteran Services for Massachusetts in processing these claims for our veterans. Another program is the Annuity Veterans Benefits Program, and this is given in recognition of service of our distinguished veterans who are 100% service connected, and also to the parents of those veterans, Gold Star parents and unmarried widows or widowers of distinguished veterans who gave their lives in service to their country during wartime. Currently, it is at $2,000 a year, but through the HERO Act, it is going to go up to $2,500 a year, and that's going to be within the next 2 years that's going to change. Here, the next couple that I'm going to go over are very near and dear to myself and the city of Boston and our neighbors. It is a Memorial Day flag planting program. So what we do every year, we work with local posts and organizations to decorate the more than 58,000 graves of our veterans and the 1,300 hero squares that you see throughout Boston. This is a huge program for us, and it takes all hands on deck. And I'm very proud to say that this year, once again, we will be able to ensure that all our veterans are recognized and honored for their service to us on Memorial Day. And the Hero Square program is a program where we install a Hero Square in a corner of a neighborhood of a service member who was killed in action. So this could be processed either by a family member, a neighbor, or pretty much anybody in the community, and is again designated to represent the ultimate sacrifice that was done by some of our neighbors. And we work very closely with this chamber, with the City Council, in ensuring that a Hero Square is up for our veterans that have gave the ultimate answer for our country. And we also work very closely with Mike Devine and his team at Transportation. They are the team that actually creates these Hero Squares and installs them in all of our neighborhoods. So when you walk around your neighborhood, look up and you may see a sign. It's brown with gold trimmings. There's a star and a name of a hero that lived in that neighborhood who was killed in action. Some of those have what we call a biography plaque, and that's something that we've been doing since 2015. So we have a long way to go. We've installed about 200 or so bio plaques. So of course it's a marathon, not a sprint. So as we identify our veterans and get biographical information, we will do a rededication of that Hero Square. And the star that you see in those Hero Squares is to recognize and honor the Gold Star family of those individuals. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit later on about where we're going to have some future dedications, but those are two programs that are very near and dear to the City of Boston and the Office of Veteran Services. With that, we have our Graves Data program, and that is a program where we have all the information that I just talked about, all of the graves of our veterans that we monitor, and all of the information of our Hero Squares that we monitor as well. It's a data program that's in progress. We're working to enhance it so that anybody who wants to find a memorial, anybody who wants to find a grave, or anybody who wants to find a Hero Square could tap into that database and find out where that hero or that veteran is located at. Another program, this is one that we just recently started and working with, is with the Boston Bullpen Project. They're a nonprofit organization that assists any individual, not just veterans, with crisis intervention. So we have been able to process a couple of claims with them for veterans who are in need. These situations that we've come across with the Boston Bullpen Project have been financial need for veterans who are having difficulty paying bills or any of that nature. So the two major observances that we have in the City of Boston Veteran Services, we consider them our Super Bowls, is obviously May, where we have Memorial Day, and also Veterans Day in November. Starting out with Memorial Day, I can't stress enough that this is a day where we commemorate. This is a day that we honor the grave sacrifices of our service members. The ones who I have mentioned that were killed in action, those who were POWs or are still missing in action who have not returned home. This is the month where we honor and recognize those. So it's a solemn occasion. It's not an occasion to celebrate. Now I know there's a lot of people, they go out and have their barbecues as the start of summer. And I'm fine with that. But just take a moment, just take a quick moment before you fire up that barbecue and just think about those patriots, think about those veterans that gave their lives so you could be able there in your backyard to have a barbecue. And that's what the month of May is for. But that's something that we do every day here in the City of Boston, as it is true when we dedicate and memorialize our veterans throughout the year with Hero Squares and honoring them in many other ways. And the other one that I talked about is November, which is Veterans Day. November 11th is the actual day. But Veterans Day, that's the day where we honor, that's the day where we recognize, that's the day that we celebrate service of all of our veterans, of all of their family members as well. Because one of the things that I like to stress is, when you're out there and you're serving your country, you have your family back home that have your back. And that family is with you in that battlefield. That family is with you on board that ship out in the ocean that you're at. So that is the month where we recognize and we celebrate service of all our veterans, of all our family members, and everything that they have done and sacrificed to ensure that we are the nation that we are today. So I wanted to specifically in here, and hopefully everyone is that is listening, to really talk about the differences between Memorial Day and Veterans Day, because it's very important. Memorial Day, once again, is a solemn occasion, and Veterans Day is when we celebrate. So just wanted to give you a quick snapshot of some of our annual events. Of course, veterans and military flag celebrations. We actually are going to be flying a flag this Saturday. So if you're around City Hall Plaza this weekend, on Saturday you will see our services flag, which has all of the seals of all of our armed forces on there. And this flag is going to be flown to celebrate Military Family Appreciation Day. Now, we also fly flags throughout the year. We fly flags to honor our Gold Star families. We fly the flag also to honor our Gold Star wives. Also, 2 different occasions. We honor our POW MIAs, raising the POW MIA flag as well for our Purple Heart recipients, those who, have shed blood in the battlefield. And also to honor all our services as well. So on their service birthday, we also have the flag ceremonies. And this is in partnership and in collaboration with the Property Management Department here in City Hall, and of course the Mayor's Office, who signs a proclamation naming that day, for like this weekend, Military Family Appreciation Day. Another event that is one of our most dear events and one of our most successful events every year, we have the African American Veterans Brunch. This year we had the honor of honoring the Brown family and Woody Woodhouse. Woody Woodhouse is one of the last remaining Tuskegee Airmen who is a lifelong resident of the Roxbury community here in Boston. And the Brown family, Ralph Brown was the main advocate, the main person who wanted to get the Edward O. Gourdine Park in Roxbury in Union Square up and put a statue in honor of General Edward O. Gourdine up there as well. And his family, when he transitioned, his family took over the work that he started. And now if you go to Nubian Square in Edward O. Gourdine Park, you will see a statue of him there. But you also see a lot of base reliefs where it honors the African-American veterans that have served our country since the Revolutionary War. We also recently had a Women's Veterans Roundtable. For those who don't know, women veterans is the largest growing demographic in the veterans community. So we were able to have a roundtable where we had active duty service member women there, as well as veterans, talk about how they struggled, any challenges that they may have as women serving in our armed forces. And we were also able to honor First Lieutenant Lydia Edwards, who was a senator and who at one time was a city councilor here in the city of Boston. A couple of other things that I just should go down. We're going to have, we do a lot of things for PT awareness. We're going to have a golf outing, and that's in partnership with PGA Hope. And this one of the reasons that we decided to use sport is because sports and games is a way to alleviate symptoms of PTSD in veterans, and it improves mood, builds confidence, self-discipline, body awareness, teamwork, and communication skills. But it also is a way for those to come out and enjoy the game of golf while learning about the issues that are faced in the military community and PT and PTSD. And we also, for PTSD awareness, we produced 2 videos promoting the 988-1 number with BPHC. We also are going to be partnering and working with the Equity Cabinet and H Strong for LGBTQ awareness and for the LGBT and have LGBTQ events as well. And some of the others that we have done in the past, the POW-AMI recognition ceremony, which is in conjunction with the Greater Boston Stand Down. We've been partnering with the New England Center and Home for Veterans the past couple of years and combining not just the stand down, but the POW-MIA event as well. And as you can see the list there are a couple of other things that we do. And all of this is in partnership. We don't do this alone. We need the community to help us out. We have a lot of great partners, not just in the city, but also veteran-centric nonprofits that help us. I mentioned the New England Center and Home for Veterans. The VFW helps out. The American Legion District are the lead for the Boston Veterans Day Parade. We work with the Highland Street Foundation for the Veteran and Military Appreciation Night in December. And we work with the National Park Services and the USS Constitution for Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day also in December. So this is just a snapshot of some of our annual events. Now, I would like to quickly, if I can, talk about some of our upcoming events. Again, I talked about the Memorial Day flag planning and wreath laying and supporting all our Memorial Day events that we have. And it's not just a day. We have a lot of events that lead up to Memorial Day where we support and lend a hand with flag planting, with laying wreaths at different memorials throughout the city of Boston. For example, in the Back Bay Fens, we have, from my understanding, it's the first World War II memorial in the country. We also there in that area also have a memorial for our Korean War veterans that served in the city of Boston, as well as Vietnam War veteran, and all their names are etched in remembrance right there in the Back Bay Fence. It's close to Kobe Clemente Field, and a few blocks away from Fenway Park. So we go out there every year to lay wreaths in honor of those neighbors that served our country from our communities. I mentioned the Hero Square dedication. We have a Hero Square dedication for Monique Wetz, and this is going to be on June 8th, 2024, and it's in JP in Eggleston Square. A couple of future Hero Squares that we are going to be working on, and these are initial Hero Squares. These aren't rededications, I'm sorry. These are actual dedications for William Neeren, which will be in Charlestown, and Eugene Leiden, which I believe is also going to be in Jamaica Plain. And then you can see a list there of other upcoming events that we have. All these events you can find on our webpage, www.boston.gov/veterans. And the next slide is a good lead-in. I wanted to talk quickly about that website that we have that I just mentioned, www.boston.gov/veterans. It's a one-stop shop for everything veterans that live in our community, or anybody who wants to go in there and see what's going on in the veterans community, not just in Boston, but what's also going on in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, what's going on in the VA, what's going on with our organizations that we partner with here in the city, here in the state, and also nationally as well. And it's a living and breathing website, so every week we go into that website to ensure that everything is up to date. There is one thing that I need to update there, in case anybody's going up there right now, is a message from me that's still there from last December, for the holidays, but I'm working on that. But everything else, all the information that talks about our benefits, that talks about our programs, that talks about the PACT Act, that talks about the HERO Act, resources for women and LGBTQ veterans, that is all updated in our website. Again, that website is www.boston.gov/veterans. And in conclusion, again, this was just a brief extract of what we do. And as successful as our programs and outreach has been here in the City of Boston Veterans Services, there is always room to improve and always room to expand. There are many different ways that we plan on expanding our outreach and promoting the Mayor's Office of Veterans Services. I believe that still the most effective way is to continue to go into our communities and meet with our veterans and meet with our neighbors and educate them on our services, benefits, and resources offered to all of our veterans and all of our families and all of our service members that live in our communities. You know, we've recently been getting a good number of calls and emails from many neighbors. I found that it's just as important to speak with all members of the communities and not just meet with our veterans and their families. So again, it's a team effort. It takes a village. One of the village that I would like to recognize right now is the Office of Veterans Services. There is no way that I can do this work alone, and I cannot be any prouder of the team and how they work tirelessly in taking care of our veterans, in taking care of our veterans' families, and in taking care of our service members. So I also look forward to continue working with the Council to ensure that all our veteran service members and their families have access to all the benefits and services they have earned. I want to thank everybody for your time and all the work that you do for our neighbors. And now I'm open to answer and happy to answer any questions that anybody may have.
Thank you, Commissioner. First, I just want to acknowledge that Councilor Fernandez-Anderson and Councilor Weber has joined us. And then I just want to say thank you for all your work. I just want to say thank you to all our veterans for their commitment and dedication and their families to this country. Again, I want to say happy birthday to my sister who is currently serving our country. And then just say thank you to all my family members who are serving or who are veterans as well. Now I'll pass it off to my council colleagues in order of arrival. For questions, Councilor Murphy, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for being here and going through that thorough slideshow of the services you provide. And I know we've had this conversation before, so I appreciate you uplifting the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day, and I do. I think it's special how passionate you are about it, but it's important that we do understand the difference. My dad is buried at National Cemetery in Bourne, and my son was actually was at Mass Maritime, and twice a year the students go over and make sure all the flags are put in, and it's beautiful those times a year. And one thing I do know, like at Cedar Grove in my neighborhood, as our members at our post age, there's less help to put flags in. So if there's any need, please let me and the council know, because I do know that I've helped put some flags in at different cemeteries, knowing that some posts have said that their members have kind of aged out, and it's not the same, force there to support that. And I think it's important, not just for those who are buried, but for others visiting, family members, to remember how many people have, served our country. I do want to uplift our veteran on the council, Councilor Flynn. When he was council president, he couldn't chair any committee, so he did give me the honor of being the chair of Veteran Services. I now co-chair it with him, but he always uplifts the differences. And when you mentioned the growing of the women veterans, but also as our veterans age, right, I think of, the supports shift and their needs shift. And one thing we did learn the last 2 years in the budget season is you have a very small budget, especially when we're, talking to the schools that have a 1.7 billion, and you have like $1 million budget, right? And you do a lot. So thank you for all you do. I would argue we need you to have a strong, more on your team. Our veterans need a lot, and you connect them to a lot of services, but reaching them is important, right? And yes, making sure that they know about it. I know before the hearing started, you were talking about, the need for our veterans to even know. And I know when we've sat down and talked, we're fortunate that Massachusetts does offer our veterans a lot, but not all of them know about it. My stepdad, Papa Jack, he's 91 now, a Marine, career Marine. He flew Marine One, and like Councilor Flynn really uses, and my uncle Charlie does too, the VA system, which is amazing. So connecting our veterans to those services there also, I think, are important. So no real questions, just how can we on the council support you more? And if, I know when you come to us and every other department, they never really say they need more, but if there's ways we can help and support, because you're doing wonderful work. And thank you also for your website updating the events around the city, because it's important that we pass all of that history on to the next generation, and they know that we are a city that respects our veterans and continue to support them. So thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Flynn, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Commissioner Santiago. Thank you, Bella, for the important work both of you are doing, and your staff as well that are in the office doing the work every day. Very professional team that you have, interacted with them for many years, and just want to acknowledge you, Commissioner, but also the staff that you work with that are very professional, engaging, welcoming, and helpful, extremely helpful to veterans and military families across the city. Commissioner, what is the current budget that you have right now, and what are you looking to have for this upcoming budget, and do you expect any changes during this process?
Right now, we don't expect any changes. Right now, our budget stands at $4.8 million. One of the things that we're doing, and I mentioned it during the slideshow, is trying to expand our services, and that's why we just started recently giving out mini grants, or not giving them out, but having people apply for mini grants, and obviously going through the process and the vetting process of getting approved for those mini grants. But I think that's one of the big things that we're trying to push, is trying to find innovative ways where our services here in the city of Boston reach our veterans and their families. One of the biggest issues that we have as an office is that we get confused with some people, or some people don't know the difference between our office and the VA. Well, we're not part of the VA. We're the Mayor's Office of Veteran Services here in the city of Boston. So there are a lot of times that we have to make that distinction, and we work really closely with the VA. They're a great partner of ours. They're a federal partner here in the city of Boston. And I'm not saying this because they're here in the city of Boston, but we do have some of the best VA healthcare system here in the city of Boston. But just letting people know that our office exists and trying to make this office a one-stop shop is something that's very important to me.
Thank you, Commissioner. Let me let me go into, as we celebrate and recognize military families as well, Commissioner, we'll recognize the incredible role our military families play, the sacrifice our military families have made. I think you also mentioned we're not giving anyone any benefits. These are services and programs and benefits that they've earned.
Yes, sir.
And that's through a lot of men and women that put themselves in harm's way. We recognize Memorial Day, solemn day, but you highlighted it perfectly as we're not giving anyone any services. These are programs and services people have earned. And the money that goes into this department is spent appropriately. It's spent financially appropriately, but also it's reaching out to veterans and military families, supporting them in so many different ways. So I know how important this budget is to the residents of Boston, not just veterans, not just military families, but the people of Boston. It really shows that we support veterans and we're not going to let them down.
Yes, sir. If I could just quickly say, you mentioned families. That's one of the, there's always a lot of focus on veterans, and rightfully so. But one of the things that I keep bringing up service members is because we have a lot of service members that live in our communities, and some of them are deployed. And sometimes the families themselves sometimes may get lost in translation, if you will. So one of the biggest pushes that we're trying to do right now is try to identify those families and see if there's any need that we could do in helping them out while their brother, while their son, while their sister is out forward deployed and serving our country.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner, you highlighted the PACT Act. That's a federal program where veterans that were exposed to environmental hazards while serving, mostly in the Middle East, but in other areas as well, they were impacted significantly by exposures to different fumes, chemicals. That process is still open for veterans to continue to apply for services and programs and benefits that they've earned. Why don't you tell us, Commissioner, this is open also not just to Middle East veterans that served in the Middle East, but also to other veterans, including Vietnam veterans, including all veterans. Tell me what the process is for a veteran that may not know about the program, but how they can access these benefits.
Councilor Flynn, thank you for bringing up the PACT Act. It's the most comprehensive Veterans Act that has been passed by Congress and signed by the President in history. PACT, what it stands for, is the promise to address comprehensive toxins. And like you had mentioned, it expands eligibility for health care for all veterans with toxic exposures, veterans of the Vietnam era, Gulf era, post 9/11 era, and there's also certain areas that they will go as far back as World War II. So everyone every enrolled veteran is eligible to receive an initial toxic exposure screening. So even if you think you didn't or did not were exposed to toxic exposure, I would recommend you go and get that screening because it's afforded to you at no charge by the VA. You don't have to be enrolled in the VA healthcare system to actually go and get the screening or go and fill in for some of these PACT Act eligibility criteria. So that's what the VA is doing right now. And the process is, for those who have already submitted a VA claim, they could submit a supplemental claim. Or those who have not submitted it, they could go ahead and submit a claim to include any of the extension from the PACT Act. It's pretty extensive. There are over 20, I believe, 23 different toxic exposure that have been added to those that the VA have now finally been able to approve for our veterans to get access to care for. So it's very important for all veterans to realize and know what the PACT Act is. Again, not to shamelessly plug our website, but if you go into our website, there's a link in there that'll send you and provide you all the information that you need about the PACT Act, how to fill out, and who to talk to for the PACT Act. And one thing that I want to mention, and Councilor, you and I, we have spoken on this on many occasions, is there are a lot of veteran organizations out there, a lot of veteran advocates out there that will help you with your VA claim free of charge and are accredited by the VA to do so. There's also a lot of claim sharks out there that are saying, let me help you with your VA claim. I'm a lawyer. I will ensure you get 80%. I will ensure you get 100% disability. Oh, by the way, I want to take 20% off the top in perpetuity from what you're getting from the VA. You don't have to do that. Don't give anybody that you have earned, that is hard-earned, to those claim sharks. Find out in your area who your Veteran Services Officer is. Go to a DAV, go to a VFW if need be. They also process claims. But ensure that whoever you're filing out your claim with, one, they're accredited. We have folks in our office to help you with the VA claims as well. But ensure that whoever's working with you do not ask for any compensation from that claim that you are submitting. Because again, a lot of them are getting a portion of our veterans' compensation, disability compensation, in perpetuity. So if the VA raises your compensation from $2,000 to $3,000, guess what? That 20% goes up for whoever that claim shark is. And as a veteran myself, it really irks me when I hear people say, oh, I got 80%. Oh, by the way, 50%. I'm keeping the other 30%. I'm giving to whoever helped me fill out the claim. She was great. He was great. That's not the case. Ensure that whoever you're working with on your claim is accredited and that they are not asking for anything in return.
Thank you, Commissioner, and thank you for your military service as well. And I'm also just want to mention DAV, Disabled American Veterans. There's a proposed legislation at the federal government, HR 6452, Veterans Scam and Fraud Evasion Act. And we'll work on that together. I'm going to do a resolution in support of this proposed legislation to deal with that issue at the federal level. But want to say thank you to you, Commissioner. I want to say thank you to Bella, but also to your entire team for the incredible work you all are doing. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. I want to acknowledge that Council President Louis Jen has joined us. Also, Councilor Santana. Vice Chair Pepin, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair. Commissioner Santiago and Director, it's good to see you here today. Thank you so much for the work you and your team does for the entire community. The veteran community is very important to me just because my best friend is currently out in Japan serving for the Navy. My uncle has served in the Navy, and I did not serve, but I did ROTC in high school. So I was able to learn a lot about the basics and the history of the Navy in particular. I also want to just thank my colleague, Councilor Flynn, for his service as well, as he is a member of the council. And I would just like to start by asking you and your office to share that flyer and the application to that grant so that our office can share with the community. I know that we have a lot of veterans in my district who would love to share this as well and potentially even apply. So I would love to have that on hand. I saw in your presentation that you have an JROTC scholarship. I would love to know how much is those scholarships worth for, and how many applicants usually get the scholarship?
The scholarship, we actually work with the JROTCs that we have here in the city of Boston. We currently have, I believe, 6 JROTCs. And they do great work, and I really want to acknowledge all of those young adults that have joined the JROTC, rather Navy JROTC, Marine Corps JROTC, or Army JROTC. The whole part about the JROTC program is to motivate these young adults. It's to motivate them to be better citizens, to motivate them and teach them the values of citizenship, personal responsibility, and also a huge sense of accomplishment. you know, and we here in the city of Boston want to recognize that. So what we've been doing is getting with the commanders of the JROTCs, and they have their own program as to how they vet who will get these scholarships. They're $500 scholarships that we give out to the JROTCs. We haven't had one, I think I think the last one was 2 years ago. But we actually, tomorrow I have a meeting with some of the leadership from the JROTC to talk about the future of the JROTC program as well as the scholarship opportunities. But it's a great opportunity for these young adults who join this program to become better citizens, to really work on what their next step is. And it's not all about them joining the military. It's about them making them better citizens and helping them become great people within our community. Rather, they want to go to college, like yourself, sir. You know, you went into public service, but it's to help them and guide them as to what their next steps are going to be.
No, absolutely. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Chief Barrows over at the O'Brien, who was my chief in the program. But I know he's doing a great job continuing to make that program strong. So I just want to offer myself as an advocate for the program in case we ever need that from the council side.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Recently, I know I was working with a member of your office, I forget who, but it was regarding a small memorial park in Mattapan off of River Street. I know that technically it pertains to DCR, but I just want to know, what role does your office play when it comes to renovating those, or potentially when it is renovated by DCR, hosting an event there?
Well, 255 River Street.
Yes.
We were actually talking about this, myself and Director Jufrey, who's in the shadows in the background here. We were talking about this yesterday. We don't know if it's owned by DCR.
Okay.
It's owned by the state from the paperwork that Dan was able to find out. So we don't know who in the state actually owns the parcel. But what we want to do is go ahead and have a beautification project there, clean it up ourselves as a neighborhood, as a veterans community, and have some sort of, like you said, an event at that park, at that little corner right there. So it's something that, we're right now in the talking stages of it, but it's something that we're looking at doing something there. And if the state would like to assist us in that, of course, we will accept any help. But we as a community, both in Mattapan as well as the veterans community, are looking at actually beautifying the space, making it something, making it a memorial that's worthy of the veterans that it represents.
Just thank you so much for being so proactive with this. I really appreciate your office for jumping right on top of it. I believe that's one of the few places we have in Mattapan to recognize our veterans. So anything that my office can do, we would love to help with that and potentially volunteer when it does happen. So sign me up.
I'm writing it down.
Yes.
I already did.
Good. But honestly, that's really all for me in regards to questions. I'm very happy with the work you all do. If anything, I want to invite you all to Hyde Park and Rosnell to do events with me, because there are a lot of veterans in my district that are looking for resources and ways that they can connect with the city's Veterans Affairs Office. So again, thank you so much for the work you all do, but I'll yield the rest of my time to the chair.
Thank you. Councilman Mejia, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair. Hey, good morning.
Morning.
It's good to see y'all. I just have a few questions. And first of all, I just want to say thank you, Commissioner. It's always great to see you in all these spaces and places, and all the community that you create. It's really important. So thank you. So I'm just curious in terms of age range for veterans. Can you tell me, do you have any demographic data about kind of like what's the age range primarily for veterans here in Boston?
Don't have the demographic handy. I could definitely get you that demographic, but I will tell you that it is an aging population. We've had a lot of World War II veterans, Korean War veterans, and even Vietnam veterans that, because of their age, are transitioning in a rapid rate here in the city of Boston and beyond. So it is an aging population that we have. We do also have a lot of young veterans that have come back, from Iraq, from Afghanistan, And those are the ones that we also would like to try to reach and also assist in any which way we can. Again, making the office a one-stop shop for all our veterans, not just those veterans that are indigent or those that have been on any of our programs for a number of years.
Thank you.
So I will definitely get you that demographic.
That would be helpful. The reason why I ask is because I always say that Boston is resource rich, but coordination poor. And I think that we have an opportunity to really figure out how we can interface with other departments. So I'm curious, considering that it's an aging population, can you talk to us a little bit about how you facilitate and coordinate with Age Strong and other, departments across the city of Boston?
We coordinate and work with the departments throughout the city of Boston as much as we possibly can. Any event that we have, we always try to include other departments within the city of Boston. Just recently, when we were talking about having an LGBTQ plus event, we talked about having one along with Age Strong and the Equity Department as well. We had a welcome home brunch that incorporated pretty much all our veterans, not just those college-age veterans in Northeastern. And with that, we had a lot of members from the ONS team, as a matter of fact, that showed up. We had a lot of those ONS community leaders actually come to that to be able to field questions, even if it's about their neighborhoods. So we've also worked with property management with regards to flags. We've also worked with, thank you, Bella. She's wrote me a little note that yesterday, for example, we participated in the Age Strong event that they had in West Roxbury. So any opportunity that we have to work with City of Boston departments, we do. And also, again, the demographic of our veterans cross all demographics. Whether it's Latino, whether it's LGBTQ, women veterans, or anything else like that. So all our veterans is our community. So it's incumbent upon me as a Commissioner of Veteran Services to ensure that I have that collaboration, that I work with those different departments in the city of Boston, in the state, and all the other nonprofits that we work with to ensure that all our veterans and their families are being taken care of, that we do everything we can to break down any barriers, especially with all those different age groups as well.
Great, thank you for that. And I'm curious, I'm glad to see that the attendance and participation has increased significantly, so that's really promising. Can you share some of your strategies? I mean, I think you kind of ran through some of the things that you've been doing, but I'm just curious, what's the secret sauce that you have managed to come up with here?
Pounding the ground, going out there, getting into the community, talking to everyone in the community. Again, working with the other departments, working with the other nonprofits. It sounds crazy, but even looking at the local newspaper, rather the Dorchester Reporter or the JP Gazette, and going in there and see what's happening in the neighborhoods to see how we, as the Veterans Department, could be a part of anything within the communities that we're serving. So a lot of it is going out there. I'm very proud of the community relations team. They do a lot of the work in going out there on the phone, going into the communities as well to see where it is where we could have an impact in our veterans community and within their families. I mentioned in my opening remarks that one of the most important things for me is not just to reach out to the veterans community and their families, but also to reach out to the community in general.
That's right.
Because everybody, hopefully everybody knows a veteran. I mean, Pepin, Councilor Pepin, Councilor Worrell, Councilor Flynn, Councilor Fernandez-Anderson, everybody here knows a veteran or has a member in their family who's a veteran, the City Council President as well. So we all have a connection to the veterans community in one way or another. So it's very important for me to get the word out to the whole community, not just be pigeonholed into just trying to reach the veterans community.
Yeah, no, I love that. Now, in regards, and I'm happy to see that we have a new director of policy that's going to really focus on that. And I'm curious, have you identified, and I've got 2 more minutes left, have you identified and just any specific policy goals that you are considering or that you're exploring?
Well, right now, the biggest policy goal right now that we're working on is the mini grant program and seeing how successful it is and making that grow as we move forward. But also, a lot of the policy is going to be going around, we have Chapter 115, that's a mandate that's mandated to us from the state. But what could we do more outside of Chapter 115? Because we're limited. It's 200% of the poverty level.
Right.
That doesn't work here in the city of Boston. So what could we do with the policy that we're going to establish to to add to that, to not just Chapter 115, but beyond Chapter 115, and what we could do as a city. And that's why the Bridge the Gap program is so important to me. It's going to be so important to this office and the city of Boston. And having a policy director who's going to lead that charge is very important in getting that done for our community.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask one last question with my minute and 13 seconds left. And it's one that's really near and dear to me. So one of my cousins, he served, he died by suicide, and there's, a lot of stigma in the family around that. And I'm just curious, when we're thinking about mental health, what are some of the main priorities? And as we're continuing to talk about the budget, that we can help amplify and champion, because I think mental health is, is like, I guess, the next pandemic that we're going to face, or that we have been facing here, especially for our veterans.
Well, thank you for bringing that, Counselor, bringing that up and amplifying that, because it's a huge problem in the military. Right now, the number stands at 22 a day that of veterans that take their own lives. We, in the City of Boston Veteran Services, we try to do everything that we can to bring that number down to zero. And one of the biggest things that we're doing right now, because of our capacity, is working with different organizations like the VA, like the Vet Center in South Boston, like the Home Base Program in Charlestown, which is part of MGH and the Red Sox Foundation, in working with them. And having events that focus on mental health. Last year, we had a great roundtable discussion around mental health that included the VA, that included BPHC, that included the New England Center and Home for Veterans, and other veteran-centric organizations that support the veterans here in the city of Boston. Here next month in June, I talked about us having a PT awareness golf outing. And this is a way for our veterans to go out there and just let loose a little bit, take their minds off what's ever going on in their head, and to promote their well-being. But it also gives us a chance to let people know that this is still going on. Yeah. There may not be a declared war with the United States as a part of, but you know what? Our veterans are still in that war. We still have a lot of veterans that, in their mind, that are suffering, that need our help. And how do we help them? In any which way that we can. And by doing that is by amplifying that and acknowledging that there's still a problem and that we need to face and work with everybody, work with our neighbors, work with those families. And again, ensuring that that veteran that needs the help is in the center of that circle. And we're all around that circle, ensuring that that veteran in that center is being taken care of.
Thank you. My time is up. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Fernandez-Anderson, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. My first question is about the org chart. If possible, could you please submit another version with your salaries, accompanied with your salaries, please? Thank you. In terms of your mini grant, can you tell me the amount, the allocation?
Right now, we're offering mini grant upwards to $10,000, no more than $10,000 for nonprofit organizations that serve our veterans community.
What's the total budgeted for?
The total right now is $200,000.
Thank you. And I mean, as you know, I think, just to preface our conversation today, my son is serving, and of course, appreciate the vets. And last year in the budget season, there were recommendations because of misunderstandings in terms of what could be compensated from the state or what you could get back. And I remember our conversation about, no, that's not quite accurate, but without disclosing, I chose not to disclose counselors and where they wanted to pull funds from, because I thought it would be more, just more contentious than we need it to be. So I hope you can appreciate that. I, for one, think that you need more money, but want to get into programmatic conversations with you in terms of structurally how you are doing this work and improving efficiency moving forward. And I think you guys are doing awesome, but could be doing I guess opportunities here are limitless in considering what our veterans deserve. And I appreciate your service and all of the folks here, our very own Shane, and also Councilor Flynn and my, of course, my baby, who is not a baby, who is a grown-ass man. So, Council President, I don't have to apologize for that.
Sure, yeah.
That word, for the record, I apologize for that word. Sometimes it just slips up. So, sorry, Chief, Commissioner, I wanted to ask you more about funding. It seems that you have some amounts available still in terms of your other current charges, and wanted to understand why that's the case. $3,331,008 for FY24, but then recommended just about a little bit over 200,000 over that. Could you explain to me what are other current charges?
So that's the, so our other current charges are, so those consist of, sorry, let me just put my glasses on so I can see. Our other current charges consist of dues, membership, subscriptions, insurance, the water. Also, the Bridge to Gap is also included in that other current charges. A Pitney Bowes comes out of that fund. Any other subscriptions that we incur during the year comes out of that fund. But that huge more amount of the 600,000, it's more about the Bridge to Gap funds that are included in that.
Yeah, if I could also add to that, just to piggyback off what Bella said about the Bridge to Gap program, is now that we have in place a director policy, we're going to go ahead and establish policy that's going to cover the Bridge to Gap, so we will be able to expend the allocated funds that we have accordingly.
I see. Thank you. For aids to veterans, $2,725,951. Can you explain or break down the different contractual services, or is that to mini grants? Where does that money go?
Are you talking about the 245? Mm-hmm. I mean, sorry, the 545?
No, for aids to veteran, according to our breakdown, it's $2 million total, unless you're.
So that's a 545.
Yeah, that's.
So that's a 545
the
line. Yeah.
Right, that's the.
Oh, the
aid to
line item.
veterans.
Oh, sorry, I'm not looking in the budget book. Rather, just the amount. I'm just giving you the amount.
Okay, so that's the 545 line, that's the aid to veterans line. That's the one that gets reimbursed 75% back to the state.
So we're on the same page. When you identify numbers, I don't know what
Okay.
you're looking at. But I'm looking at raw data, not the book.
Okay.
But yeah, so can you tell me the list of aid to vets, like services that goes under that line
That's
item?
just- Yeah, that's the Andrews line.
Yeah, that's the line that we use for our Mass General Law, Chapter 115. So that's the money that is expended to our veterans under Chapter 115 from the state, and that's the one that was where the confusion lied last year, that we do get reimbursed 75%, but that 75% gets reimbursed the following year's fiscal year, and it goes into the general fund. It doesn't come back to the department.
Got it. I understand. Also, we asked you for a breakdown of MBEs. I understand your contractual services is a very small amount, but could you send in the demographics and how we're doing on that?
Okay.
Thank you so much. And in terms of programmatic questions, I guess if you were to measure efficiency from FY24 to 23 to 24, what would you say is different, and how have you provided services that specifically address housing needs, equity, and outreach and mental health?
Well, that's pretty much all that we do. That's a lot of what we do. You know, our main priority is to ensure that all veterans are housed. We have a great working relationship with Sheila Dillon and her team. Just recently, a couple of months ago, We housed 5 veterans in the South End, permanently housed them in apartments in a project that was started several years ago. It was finally completed, and now they're getting wraparound services, not just from the city, but also from the federal government as well, from the VA. The VA is a big part of that too. So we're looking at hopefully trying to see if, how that model will work out and what could come out of that to ensure that our veterans are housed. When it comes to mental health, like I had mentioned a few minutes ago, is amplifying the fact that there is still an issue out there with mental health and our veterans, and ensuring that we just don't take care of that veterans, but everyone is fully aware that there's still an issue out there when you consider over 20 veterans a day are taking their lives. And with regards to equity, like I had mentioned, the veteran community encompasses all demographics. I mentioned LGBTQ. I'm Puerto Rican as well. So when you talk about a veteran, you're talking about anybody. You're talking about anybody who could be African American, a woman. So when we focus on all of what we do for our veterans is all veterans, not just any one particular demographic.
Thank you so much. Interested in partnering with you and talking about specifically your outreach efforts and
Yes.
how that's executed equitably. In terms of data collection and utilization, how does your department collect or analyze data for needs of veterans in Boston?
One of the things that we do is we have a metric that we go by. We require our staff to pretty much document every single call that they have, every single email that they've received, and every single touch that they have with a veteran coming through the doors of our office. That also includes any conversations that we have and the mayor's coffee hours as well. We require everybody to sign a sheet, or we would document that we had a conversation about a particular issue that a veteran may be facing, whether it's housing, whether it's finances, whether it's job placement. So what we do is we keep track of pretty much all the numbers that we have for Chapter 115, homeless shelters, how many veterans are sheltered, and things of that nature. So that's what we do. Also, one of the things that we're working on now that we do have a policy director is reestablishing a survey that we have. We do have a survey that has about 10 or so questions. We may be looking at broadening that and maybe add more questions to it. It seems to be that a lot of different organizations says, you got to keep it to 10 questions or less. Some of the people say, well, you got to have more data, so you got to ask 16 questions. So trying to figure out where that happy medium is and how many questions we could ask, and for us to be able to extract as much information as we can and have, all that information and all that, and analyze all that information is something that we're definitely looking into as we move forward.
Just to follow up, my time is up. Can you please submit your analysis of the current state of the need for veterans in Boston?
When you mean needs, can you be more specific, Counselor?
So, for example, the numbers that you're collecting on housing need, on mental health, or otherwise, like maybe it's food services or connecting to resources. If you have that data, if you have those numbers and you've analyzed them to understand exactly what the umbrella of services should be from your department, then I'm interested in seeing it so that it doesn't make sense to have a budget conversation without understanding the need or where we are.
Okay. Also, thank you for bringing up the food services stuff, because food access is also huge in the veterans community. We actually have a link on our website for any veteran or family member who may be having food insecurities to go into there and fill out the information, and we will ensure that they get a basket of food as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you. Councilor Weber, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you to the panelists for everything you're doing. I guess you mentioned the Hero Square program. If people have biographical information, who do they send it to?
They could send it to us in our office, either through our website or through what's our email?
Veterans@boston.gov.
Veterans@boston.gov.
Okay.
Or even to me personally, and we'll make sure to send it out. And, again, that's in JP is actually, we have one coming up there, Counselor, very soon.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great, to fill in the information for people I think would be incredibly valuable and support, people who are killed in action.
Yes, sir.
And their families. So I had, I guess, I'm not sure if you addressed this, I was a little distracted, but looking at the budget for last year in the aid to veterans, have you addressed that? It's like the numbers 54500.
545, yes.
Yeah, can you just explain what is the aid to veterans part of the budget?
So the aids to veteran part, that's the line item that we use to pay off our veterans through Chapter 115. So the process goes, a veteran will come into our office, they would like to apply for Chapter 115. We get all the requisite information and paperwork. We'll submit it to the state, to the Executive Office of Veteran Services. They'll come back and say approved or disapproved for whatever reason. If approved, then what we'll do is whatever the amount is, that's what the aids to veterans line is for, is to pay off Chapter 115. It's also the line item that we use to separate for our Bridge to Gap program as well.
Okay, and then I guess in your RFI, the responses, it says that there was like 2.7 million budgeted last year, and year to date, it says 880,000 was expended, and I'm trying to figure out what happened. How do we make sure weren't you not able to spend that amount? Is it because I know 200,000 in the Bridge the Gap program. So I'm just asking for, what's happening.
Oh, what it is, there's a lot. There's a lot of. That's a great question, because there's a lot that goes into how we pay out the money from the 545 line for aids to veterans, which is the aids to veterans line. A lot of that has to do with the fact that a lot of veterans right now, earlier I had mentioned that it's 200% of the poverty level. So if you're making $40,000 a year, you don't qualify for Chapter 115, you're over budget. So that's why we have to find innovative ways to ensure that those veterans that still have a financial need get taken care of, which is why we came up with the Bridge to Gap program. A lot of what's going on with the 545 line is that either one, veterans aren't qualified for it, or we have an aging population of veterans who used to be on Chapter 115 that have transitioned, that are no longer with us. So we obviously take them off the rolls.
And it's broken down by quarterly how the state pays us, so it's always in the rear, so it doesn't automatically hit. Sometimes it all depends on how they get closed out as well monthly. Sometimes the month of April might not close out till the following month, so that also backs everything up, and we wait for the state to reimburse. So it's certified expenditures, and then we get the reimbursement. So those numbers are always a little different until we actually get the stuff from the state back, and then the reimbursement goes into the general fund.
Okay, yeah, and I mean, do you anticipate that by the end of the fiscal year, you'll have expended the 2.7?
There'll probably be surplus.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm just, the only reason why I'm asking is if there's any sort of log jam, like how we can help you get the,
Right.
help you get the benefits to people. Just to give you a sense of where I'm coming from. I see to that point. I saw in your organizational chart there was a benefits specialist position that was vacant. Is that still the case?
Yes, it was. It was actually vacant very recently.
Okay.
And we updated the chart for today.
Yeah, and so you expect to fill that soon?
Hopefully.
Okay. And I guess with the Bridge the Gap program, it's $200,000, max of $9,999 per grant. Do you know how many applications you've gotten so far?
Right now, that have applied, that have finished their application process is 8, but we are expecting a whole lot more by the end of next week.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like a great program. It's something we should look into expanding. if the need exceeds the amount. But so I'm interested to see how and this is the first year of that program?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, Councilor.
It sounds like a wonderful idea, and we're interested to see why is the $10,000 cap on the grants?
Well, there's a pilot program for us, so we're hopefully looking to see, the success of the mini grant program is going to drive what we're going to go ahead and do in the future. So we're looking at somewhere down the line to get rid of the mini and just call it a grant for over that amount of $10,000.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we're talking about 200% of the poverty line, and that, not being difficult to afford to live here. So it might make sense to expand that, I guess. And I saw, I think in the report that our veterans population has gone down slightly. Do other than people dying, is there any reason for? And is it because of cost? Do you have any thoughts on what's happening in that respect?
It could be an array of things. It could be just that veterans, could be moving out of the city of Boston. It could be that there's some veterans aren't identifying themselves as veterans, although they are. So that's why it's important to us to try to reach out to everyone who has served in the military, and then we could figure out their status from there.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you. Council President Louis-Jean, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair, and I want to thank you, Commissioner, and to your team for being here. Commissioner, your team, I believe it was on Saturday, held Hero Square dedication in the North End, and they did a really great job. And I think it's important to know that your staff does a good job representing you when you're not present. So I just wanted to elevate that. That was in honor of Second Lieutenant Antonio Polcari in the North End, who was killed in action. So I want to thank you. I want to thank all the work that you do. I have questions related. Is this the first year that you're doing the mini grant program?
That's correct.
And what was the impetus? Like, what was the driver that made you decide to want to explore this program?
Well, we wanted to try to find innovative ways that we could go out there and support our veterans. And while we have a great working partnership with a lot of our nonprofits, sometimes they don't have the capacity, or they don't have the funds to continue programs, or to work on programs that they have for our veterans. So we decided to work as part of the Bridge the Gap program to help the nonprofits out as well, since they also have the same vision that we have in our mission to take care of our veterans.
Thank you. I think the grant programs are really efficient use of city resources, and I think I was able to champion them for the Office of Returning Citizens and for other offices. The Office of Black Male Advancement is doing it. Office of LGBTQ plus Advancement. Office of other offices are doing it, and I think it's so important for us to be doing that work, because oftentimes the solutions are in community. They are being led by people who are oftentimes the ones who have faced the exclusions and who have had trouble getting services and who know how to solve the problem. So I just want to uplift the importance of us as a city in administering these grant programs, and I hope what you'll learn from the data is like how better to incorporate into our own budget how we're supporting nonprofit organizations. And I just really hope that there's that feedback loop of once you get the data of who's applying, because I'm curious to know if there are folks, and you probably don't want to tell it now if you haven't given out the grants, but like, who are the nonprofits applying? Well, what are they applying for? What does that say about what your office isn't able to provide or could be providing better? Because what I've been seeing in different offices, and it's really interesting, is that I think some of the offices have actually, once they've given out their grants, they come back and like, oh, what does this tell us about ourselves, about what we're not doing? And then you then have to be careful about whether that puts you, or whether the nonprofits end up feeling like it puts you in competition with them in terms of providing services. But I think we're resource rich, and there are ways that everyone can eat, so to speak, and so that we can continue to support organizations that are doing this work. So I'm looking forward to sort of seeing the data. I've shared it with people like Haywood Fennell, who's a phenomenal veterans advocate, and the great work that Meredith Tewitt is doing. And so hopefully we see a richness of veterans organizations applying and being able to win these grants, and that helps to feedback loop for your office. I have a question about the claim sharks. It's actually, again, and I want to thank you for the incredible work that you do, the incredible service that you do, and how you've served our country. My cousin hasn't even been here 3 years, still really learning to master the English language and just joined the Army. And there are so many people whose stories are like that. And then I think about the vulnerable populations that are often fed on by, like, either, unscrupulous attorneys or people who are just trying to get money. I'm wondering what population of the veterans population you see more prone to being the victims of these claim sharks.
Well, right now, I don't have any definitive as to which demographic. I would tell you that there has been a large number of the elderly veterans population, not just through claim sharks, but through other means that have been affected by sharks in general. But with regards to claim sharks, I would need to check the data and get back to you on that one.
Okay. The Attorney General just set up a department in Elmwood Justice Unit, and so I think that could be a way of, specifically, I know there's probably a lot of overlap, either, like you said, you were at H Strong yesterday, but with the population of folks who are veterans. And is there work that your office is doing or thinking about when you're talking servicing, veteran immigrant populations? You're talking about how you're Boricua, LGBTQ+, like how does that work when figuring out which offices to partner with to uplift the certain needs of more vulnerable parts of the veteran community, whether it's Black or Brown veterans who are more vulnerable than others?
Okay, can you rephrase that again? I'm sorry.
So, the decisions to work in partnership with Office of LGBTQ+ advancement, or to work with, has there been work with partnership with the Office of Black male advancement? How do you decide what groups you're partnering with as you are trying to elevate the voices of veterans who have the most trouble in our navigating systems?
Well, we try to work with all the other departments and all the demographics as much as we possibly can throughout the year. But if there's a focus, let's say in March, where it's Women's History Month, then we know that there's a lot of events that are centered around women for the month of March. So we capitalize on the fact that the women are being amplified in March. So we work on where we have our Women's Roundtable, for example, that we did. June, just around the corner, is LGBTQ Pride Month. That's going to be a month that we are also going to be having a presence and amplifying, the voices of LGBTQ veterans during the month of June as well. May, of course, is Memorial Day, but there's also Military Family and Spouses Appreciation Month. So it's a way for us to amplify them as well. So, while we work around themes, it's something that we use and gather as much information as we can to go along with some of what we've been talking about and seeing how we could better support those populations that are in need.
Thank you, Commissioner. I guess, can you talk about the budget items that are dedicated about promoting racial and gender equity within the department, within your department and staff, and what does that look like?
Well, we have, what's the demographic for that? We do believe that we have a very diverse team in our department. We have, a couple of LGBTQ staff members, including myself. We have Latino representation in the office. We have Brazilian.
Yeah.
But we're looking for the actual numbers right now.
Okay. And I think you may have addressed this too, the plans to digitize historical documents and update the veteran grave programs. What are the projected costs and resources associated with that project?
We're still working through that.
Okay.
We're looking at putting that out to bid. Since it's going to be in a substantial amount, because we do have documentation going back to World War I in files located at 43 Hawkins right now. So we would like to digitize and place all those historical documents in a safe software where we ensure that we save it for future generations to come, and then also maintain the paper copies that we have as long as that we possibly can with any department who does that. So giving you the breakdown of the race, ethnicity of the female versus male, we have 3 Black, 3 Hispanic, and 5 white. So that's the breakdown in our office right now.
And what did you say in terms of gender lines?
I'm sorry?
Did you do gender breakdown?
The gender breakdown, we have 1 black female and 2 black males, 2 Hispanics, female, 1 male, 2 white females, and 3 white males.
Okay, thank you. I think that's my time. Thank you again, Commissioner, to your entire staff for all the incredible work that you do on behalf of our veterans and on behalf of the city and this country. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President.
And my apologies. Council Durkin has been here for a while. Just want to acknowledge your presence. And also, we've just been joined by Council Braden. Council Santana, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you so much for the administration for being here. Commissioner Santiago, nice to see you, and nice to see you, Director. Thank you to my colleagues for asking so many questions. I actually want to go on the record also of thanking Councilor Flynn for her service, but also just for being a champion on the City Council and always reminding us of our veterans here in the city. Commissioner, I know you spoke about it earlier a little bit about the housing, the services that you provide for housing. Someone who grew up in Boston Public Housing, can you just talk about the work with our veterans in our Boston Public Housing authorities, how we're doing outreach there, and if there's any specific outreach tools that you use to reach our housing authority residents?
So we work, again, very closely with Sheila Dillon's team and Kenzie Bach as well to ensure that we try to take care of our veterans that are in Boston Public Housing as, in particular, because there is a big need in there as well. But, we try to get the word out there as far as what our benefits are to those veterans, and we do have a good number that are on our Chapter 115 rolls. I don't have the numbers specifically, but I know that we do.
Okay, no, we'd like to see some numbers on that when possible. Going off, and I know you just went over your staffs and the demographics there. Can you speak to the language access that you all provide to our residents, to our veterans?
When it comes to veterans, in order for you to serve in the U.S. military, you have to have some, even though for many people it is their second language, you have to have some sort of proficiency and competency in the English language. So we haven't really had that much reason to have any language access. I will say that some of the Latinos that do come to our office, because their language, English is their second language, either myself or one of the other Spanish-speaking members of the team are able to help them as much as we can.
Okay, oh, great. Again, my colleagues covered a lot of the questions that I did, so those are the 2 questions that I wanted to get on the record, but really appreciate you and your team and all the work that you're doing, and thank you for coming here today. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Councilor Durkin, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Chair, and I know how much work it takes to convene all of these hearings, so really grateful for your leadership. And I'm sorry I missed some of the presentation, so just wanted to get into, I know there's a vacancy for Deputy Commissioner. Are you planning to fill that anytime soon?
Yes, it's actually been posted now for a couple of weeks now.
Yes, a couple of weeks.
So we haven't really started the interview process just yet. Going to wait actually a little while before I do start interviewing for that position, possibly after Memorial Day, being that a lot of the time that I'm dedicating to right now is for everything leading up to Memorial Day, and also for the hearing here today.
And it was great to see you at the USS Truxton when it was here.
Yes.
On the Ray Flynn area. It was just like incredible I've never actually been out there, so I know Councilor Flynn talks about it a lot, but I actually hadn't been there and hadn't been on a Navy ship. So it was incredible, and I got there a little bit late and got to see some of the folks who are in for the weekend, and didn't realize that happens twice a year usually. So so excited, encouraging my colleagues to take part too, if they ever come, when they come back for their next, the next ship that comes back. But, and so good to get to know you a little more there. I'm just curious what, I had a veteran who is a member of my staff. He's moved on to the Cambridge City Council, but Jake Werner, who did a great job advocating for veteran services within our office. I know he talked to me a lot about the coordination between the state and federal government and the city, and I was just curious, how those, what that looks like, and how often you're talking with the state government around veteran services.
We talk quite a bit, actually. As we know, what used to be the Department of Veteran Services is now the Executive Office of Veteran Services for the state, and Dr. John Santiago is the Secretary for the Executive Office of Veteran Services, and he has grown his staff. So it's a constant partnership, it's a constant collaboration, working between the city and the state as well, and also the federal government. Earlier I had mentioned the collaboration and partnership that we have with the VA. So that's ongoing because we all serve the same demographic, which are our veterans that call the city of Boston home. And a lot of our veterans are transient, so they will come up from other communities and come into our communities. So working along with Dr. Santiago and his team and the other veteran services officers in other communities, whether it's Cambridge, just to name one, or Winthrop or Ludlow, maintaining that line of communication between all the VSOs has been very, very important in ensuring that our veterans are taken care of, especially as they move from one community to another.
Thank you. And I think, just going into that a little bit more, a lot of the direct services that are offered in the area are state and federal services. So, I think, but obviously our City of Boston resources, it's like you're the first stop and when someone's looking for how to access some of these services. So, and I know we don't hear from folks much because I know they're talking directly from you, but I'm excited to partner with you. My family has a long history of service. My grandfather was in the Army. Sorry, I'm mixing this up. Sorry. My grandfather was in the Air Force. My brother-in-law is in the Army right now and is a recruiter and has served on multiple tours. And my sister actually lives right by a military base in Texas. So we're really have a lot of military folks in our family, and hoping we can get her to move up to Boston sometime soon, but I know they're finishing out their service there. So appreciate everything you're doing for our veterans in our communities, and wanted to also shout out the work of the Mission Hill Post. They're become really great friends of mine in Mission Hill, and I know a lot of them have moved to different parts of, but they find this way to bring together, everyone. And I know we had a Hero Square dedication, that was one of the first things I filed. So it was great to work with your team on that. And oftentimes the Hero Square is dedicated at a place where something significant happened, but the family may live somewhere else. So got to meet a lot of folks from West Roxbury who are really honored that their family member was being honored. And I think there are ways that we can strengthen those connections with the local posts. And I know that the money that we'll be passing through this year's budget will be important to sustaining and maintaining those connections. But please count on me as a resource in the 5 neighborhoods that I represent, and look forward to supporting this budget, and look forward to supporting your work. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Durkin. And please, by all means, please pass on the information about the mini grant to the Mission Hill Post. We did contact all the posts, but just want to make sure that they're aware.
Thank you. Councilor Braden, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I apologize for my tardiness. I had another meeting. Good morning. Good to see you both.
Good morning, Councilor.
I know my colleagues have probably asked all sorts of great questions in my absence, but one particular, thinking about veterans as a group, like they're folks from their 20s to their 90s, and men and women, all sorts of different, who are retired out at different levels in the services. I'm just thinking, for those younger folks, is it difficult for folks to find employment? I'm more thinking along the lines of job training and getting into the trades, or do they come, just thinking about job opportunities, because that's a big issue, especially coming back to Boston, where it's such an expensive place to live.
There are programs, but the issue sometimes is knowing what those programs are and how to be able to access those programs. is what I found the big issue with, especially with the younger veterans. And also, one of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of times with the veterans, they find it difficult to translate their military experience into the civilian job market. So that's definitely one area that we're looking at, and that we've worked with a lot of different groups to have these veterans come in so we could work on resume building, on interview, being able to successfully hold an interview in the civilian sector. Mm-hmm. So a lot of it has to do with just translating that what their trade was in the military to the civilian side. Mm-hmm. But there are some issues, there are some challenges, but it's something that we constantly look at.
Constantly. And are you working with, say, Trin Winds programs that's thinking about other city departments that would help support that?
We've been working with workforce development. We've worked with Sagoon's a team as well to try to identify who the veteran businesses are, as well as veterans who want to be employed as well. So mm-hmm. we always try to work with the city agencies first before we branch out, but we always find it very useful to also include nonprofits and of course the state.
Mm-hmm. I know I've been talking to Chiefs Idawu about our taxi medallions that are all worth a lot of money a few years ago, and their street values declined a lot with all the gig economy and Uber and Lyft. And I was, constantly thinking about, the opportunity for folks to get those medallions and be self-employed as taxi drivers or whatever. I think when it comes, what level of unemployment do we see in our returning in veterans? Is it difficult for them? Obviously, if folks have significant trauma from their service time, if they've got PTSD or physical injury, that's more difficult. But folks who are returning, is it difficult for them to get into the employment market?
A lot of it is a transition from military service to civilian sector. Yeah. From my personal experience, I served 20 years in the United States Navy. I retired off the USS Constitution, and I'm going to age myself here, back in 2008. Being that I was here in Boston and not out at sea, I was on board the Constitution, I thought that I had a foot in the door. Once I do retire, that I'm going to be well off, that all my experience in the Navy is going to be able to be easily translated into the civilian sector. Well, that was furthest from the truth, especially in a city like Boston, where there's a lot of people around here that has way higher degrees than I did at the time. So just by that learned experience, it was difficult for me to transition from military life after 20 years of military service, straight out of high school, by the way. Yeah. But I fortunately had somebody who I could fall back to, which was, my then fiance, now my husband. There's a lot of veterans that don't have that, and those are the ones that we're trying to identify to ensure that we take care of them and help them through that transition. We do have a position in the office right now that is vacant. The person who filled the transition was an Air Force veteran who moved on to another human services position. And that person's job primarily was to identify who those veterans are that need help in transitioning and integrating into the civilian community. So we do have a position in the City of Boston Veteran Services that advocates for those veterans. It's just a matter of right now of finding and identifying that person to fill that role to be able to help out. But in the meantime, we're doing everything we can to still identify who those veterans are and help them in any which way that we can.
Yeah, it's not an easy transition.
No, it's not an easy transition. Like I said, I thought I had that foot in the door, and next thing I know, once I got my DD-214, I wasn't wearing that uniform again. I was like faced with the door in front of me. I'm knocking on the door trying to get it back open. Do
veterans come out from the service with, specific, like they have a broad range of job skills, but I know in the British system years ago, you actually came out almost like you came out with a trade, like you came out, you retired from the service with, you were electricians, you were you had a whole long list of, I confess I didn't grow up here. I came in '95 and I'm still catching up with everything. I'm just, thinking about how we can make that transition easier for folks.
One of the things that I tell veterans and I tell families and I tell pretty much everybody who's willing to listen to me is if you're serving after 4 years, 6 years, 18 years, 20 years, 24 years, and then you finally decide and hopefully sit down with your family and talk about it, you finally decide that you want to transition and get out of the military, retire, or just leave after your term is over, or resign your commission, that is the time that you need to start your transition. That is the time that you need to start integrating. And what I mean by that is finding out and figuring out where you're going to live. Are you going to stay in the community where you're retiring from? Me being in the Navy, one of the largest naval bases here in the East Coast is in Norfolk, Virginia. I know a lot of people that are from the Northeast that decide to stay in Norfolk. But there's also a lot of people that are stationed in Norfolk that want to move to Wisconsin, that want to move to Pennsylvania, or want to move up here to Massachusetts. Do your homework, do your reconnaissance, do your recon, find out where it is where you and your family are going to be at, where you're going to be stable
Support
at,
systems.
See what the job market is like, see what the housing market is like, if you're able to afford it, or what you need to do to be able to integrate into that community. But do it from that day that you decide that you want to transition, that you are going to get out of the military. Don't wait until you get your DD-214. There are a lot of things you do need your DD-214 for, but you could prepare in the meantime to be able to transition, to be able to go from wearing that uniform to wearing a suit. Yeah. And so that it's very important to, especially in today's market, to know what trade you're going to go into, what job market you're going to go into. A lot of the jobs in the military right now are very highly technologically advanced jobs. So trying to fit and you may be pigeonholed while you're in the military, but you may have to
tweak it,
branch out a little bit.
Yeah.
When you eventually join the civilian job market. But being able to do that homework and find out who the VSO is for that community. Yeah. Find out who the Veteran Services Officer is. Find out who the veteran advocates are. Find out even the post, if it's a DAV or it's a VFW or an American Legion, AMBES, or whatever the case may be. Find out who the veteran advocates are in those communities that you feel you're going to be in. Yeah. And then, from there, start making those connections and figure out what you're going to do. Yeah. I'm not saying that it's going to be the end all to be all, but it's definitely a start, and it'll definitely help in the transition.
Very good. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Council Braden. Thank you, Commissioner and Director. A lot of my questions have been asked by my council colleagues, but just have a few questions. The grant program, this is the Bridge the Gap program, the Welcome Home Bonus, and then the grants program. Are all these new?
No, the Bridge to Gap program is the new program. Okay. Which one was the other one you mentioned, Councilor?
Welcome Home Bonus.
The Welcome Home Bonus, that is a state program. Okay. And that one has actually been around for a while. And like I mentioned, it's for since 9/11 that one's been around.
Awesome. And I have a few VFWs in my district. Can you talk to me about how you work with them? A lot of them, have deferred maintenance. One of them is completely offline. The one on Woodrow Ave. Can you talk to me about how do you work with them to, make sure that we're getting them back online? I know some of them are talking about possibly selling their lot. Like, do you provide any assistance, any resources when it comes to, either maintenance or helping them navigate the selling of their properties?
For the sake of transparency, I am a Legacy Life member of the VFW. I also hold, just recently became the district commander for District 5 of the VFW. So I'm highly involved with the VFW. Now I know that there's been some talks with some of the properties being sold. There was one that was actually sold in Dorchester a couple of years ago. I didn't have a lot to do with that one, but one of the things that I always emphasize with any of the posts that before they sell is to do do their homework, do their recon. Who are they going to sell it to? What are they going to use it for? And to try to put in the clause or what the contract or whatever the case may be, that they support veterans. Rather, if they're building if they're building units, maybe have units there set aside for veterans where they'll accept the HUD VASH vouchers. And there's going to the model that happened in the South End, those were set aside for veterans. So when they're thinking about selling that parcel, and I know there's a lot of money involved there, to ensure that they do it with a veteran in mind. After all, they are a veteran organization. They were a veteran post or are a veteran post. I don't know if they'll keep their charter or not, but if their charter is active, they're still serving veterans. So if they're going to go ahead and sell that parcel, to ensure that they have the veterans' interest in mind.
Thanks. Yeah, just want to bring to your attention the one on Woodrow Ave, that VFW, can't remember the name right now off the top of my head, but Commander Stevens over there, him and I have been in deep conversation around just what are the future steps. Yeah, and
another thing, you had mentioned on how we help them to maintain the post is for Memorial Day. When flags are planted, there's actually a cost involved with that. So what they do is, for each flag that they plant, they get a monetary compensation for it. For each wreath that they put on one of the hero squares, they also compensated monetarily. So that's one way that we basically, I guess you could say, kill two birds with a stone, is by while they're supporting their mission, taking care of veterans, we're supporting them and taking care of their posts as well.
Thank you. Yeah, if you could forward me that information so I could get it out to the posts in my district, just to make sure that they are aware of the program. So the mini grant program is $200,000. The department's growing by 32. Where was the money reallocated from to go to the mini grant program?
So that money was allocated from the 545. It originally came from the 545 line. It was reallocated for the 549 line. And as the mini grants, once you take away the mini and they'll become grants, the money will be transferred from the 549 line to the contracted service line, which is the 529 line.
Okay, so just so I understand, so it went from aid to veterans to other current charges?
Yes, once it was created, the Bridge to Gap was created and the money came from the aid to vets and was put in the 549 line, and now it will be reallocated again to the contracted services, which is the 529 line.
Awesome. And then when we're thinking about providing assistance and resources to our vets, are you, is your vision to provide it from the department, or is it to, work with BHA, work with MOH to have special carve-outs, or OEOI to have special carve-outs in their department that go specifically to veterans?
My vision is for us to be the one-stop shop. If we needed to do any carve-out with the other departments, then that's a conversation I could have with the departments. Some of those departments already have something where we could tap into, where we could do a warm handoff, passing on the veteran, whether it be to H-Strong or OEI or anybody else. But those partnerships are extremely important to us, because right now, as it stands in my office, we don't have the capacity to do a lot of what we would love to do for our veterans, so we have to do that warm handoff. But as it stands right now, we would like to be the first point of contact that all our veterans have, and if we need to do that warm handoff, we will. If we could provide the services, if we could provide the benefits through our office, then we'll go ahead and do that as well.
Yeah, no, and that's one of my concerns is that, MOH, they're focused on housing every single day, right? The small business department is focused on housing every single day, and to build that capacity within your department, you will have to scale up where we already have a city department that's focused on there. So I think, just encouraging, the collaboration to ensure that, you can still be the one-stop shop, but, utilizing all of our city resources and that coordination. I just want to just give a big shout out again to you guys for all your work and your service. Thank you to my buddy over here, Councilor Flynn, for his service and his advocacy. Also, just want to shout out the family members of my family that have served or are serving: Adrian Worrell, Shane Phillips, Craig Alexander, Steve Stevenson, and Nelson Steven, and also my sister Monique Worrell. Again, happy birthday. And now we'll go to public testimony? No public testimony.
So I look forward to meeting them as they come back into our communities for services.
Okay. Yep. So we do have one public testimony. When your name is called, please come down to one of the two podiums and state your name, neighborhood, and/or organization affiliation. Please speak into the microphone. Please keep your comments to 2 minutes. Roger Sterling, the floor is yours.
All right, I promise I'll make this quick because I actually have to go meet my boyfriend for lunch. He was a veteran, I was not. First of all, thank you. So I was taking notes so much. I would really love to get in touch with you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for what you do. It makes a big difference, and hopefully my little speech will illuminate why. Good morning. My name is Melissa. I'm a born and raised Bostonian and current resident. I'm not a veteran, but I would not be here today if it were not for my veteran friends who continue to look out for me and members of my community. In August 2020, I took the same federal oath of office that our veterans took. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of this office on which I am about to enter, so help me God. Though I was merely a civilian federal employee in 2020, I remain inspired by the acts of service of our veterans. This hearing seeks to address the budget for the Office of Veteran Services, and the funding allocated for this office makes a material and substantial difference in the lives of Boston's veterans. What do our veterans even do? They continue to serve, even as civilians. They serve as our Director of Legislative Budget and Analysis for this very governing body. Sorry, I'm out of breath. But by and large, Boston's veterans first and foremost help out non-veterans and veterans alike. They do IT and computer troubleshooting for older veterans, which is what my boyfriend's doing now. Boston's veterans feed anyone who is hungry. They shelter those who are without a safe, sanitary, and comfortable place to sleep. They regularly clean up litter and beautify our city. And despite them being pretty wary of electoral politics, some of Boston's veterans had even joined me in lawful protests of unconstitutional and unethical policies of the Wu administration. Boston's veterans will quite literally give someone the shirt off of their back, which probably explains why I have so many Army tees despite never having served in that branch. Our veterans chair AA meetings and work every day to help others out the dregs and darkness of addiction. They fix things, they build relationships. Specifically, my late friend Christopher Brooks built parts of the city as a member of Iron Workers Local 7 and worked as the construction partner for Congressman Stephen Lynch. Unlike Michelle Wu, Boston's veterans regularly care for their fellow community members without trying to curate a phony public image. Unlike Mayor Wu, Boston's veterans stand by their lifelong oath to support and defend the United States Constitution. And unlike Michelle Wu, Boston's veterans care about and for our community without millions of dollars of campaign funds idling in a so-called war chest. But back to the matter at hand, the funding allocated for OVS. It's clearly a priority, and I'm not here to merely advocate for the city of Boston to open its purse, per se, and provide more funding for this line item, though you absolutely need to do that. I'm here to remind this council that the segment of Boston's populations, Boston's veterans and the veteran community are not merely line items. And though they are not at this public hearing, these members of the public and former public employees deserve to be heard. Boston's veterans deserve to be cared for and supported in the very way that they support our community outside of the auspices of phony photo ops, public relations regalia, and pathetic press junkets. But yes, I've listened, and since 2022, I've been advocating for arts and cultural programming for our veterans. We've got a lot of really good artists who are vets. And I also wanted to mention So the Pine Street Inn they have a Veterans Outreach Office on Chauncey Street, and it's for any veteran, whether they're housed, whether they're a client of Pine Street. They have a safe there. They can store important documents, which, to Councilor Braden's point, was one of the material sort of barriers when it comes to employment and job search. It's you have to go to this building to get the DD-214, you have to go to this building to get the birth certificate. It's a lot of moving parts. So just wanted to uplift Pine Street Inn's Veteran Outreach. Sean Ahern, he's my guardian angel, and he helps, and that team does a lot. They're be a great potential partner. That's about it. I would love to connect with you if you have any time afterwards, and thank you so much again for your service.
Thank you. Go back to my council colleagues. Second round of questions.
Yes.
Put on your lights if you have second round. Councilor Flynn, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, I want to say thank you to the commissioner and to the commissioner's team for the work that they're doing in support of our veterans and our military families. Maybe I'll just ask one question. I know there's another group coming in as well. And Bella, thank you also for the work you're doing. Let me ask Rob, and I just wanted to mention, I do have a veterans hearing scheduled at the City Council that will take place on June 7th at 10 a.m. So thank you, Rob, for working with my staff for getting that scheduled. Let me ask you one final question to you, Bella, and to you, Rob. I know we support all veterans and military families, and we provide the best services in help that we can. We also worked together on supporting LGBTQ veterans. And Rob, when you and I were young and in the military, at one time, gay and lesbian service members couldn't serve. And then I was in the military at that time. They couldn't serve openly. And then changes took place, and it was a new policy called Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And then after Don't Ask, Don't Tell, gay and lesbian service members could serve openly. But we also know that during that period of time, many gay and lesbian service members were discharged because they were gay, because they were lesbian, or for other reasons that were mentioned in a DD 214. Maybe they said they were insubordinate, or they were, they had mental health challenges that they discharged them for. But the real reason they discharged them for was because they were gay and lesbian. But as you know, when that type of discharge took place, it's not an honorable discharge. It's something other than an honorable, which is called, or even it could have been a dishonorable discharge or administrative discharge. There's various types of discharges that impact the services programs that you've earned. I know that is changing now, that the federal government is looking at those discharge papers and hopefully changing it so that they'll become honorably discharged, so that they can receive the same benefits that we receive. So, want to ask you, Rob, if veterans are in that situation and maybe they haven't engaged in any services from the state, federal, or city over a period of time because they were discharged. Maybe they feel embarrassed about it, or they don't want to talk about it. What can you do? What can your team do? I know you can't physically change the discharge, but I know you are helping people. So just give us a little bit of information, what you can do, and how are you helping these veterans?
First and foremost, Councilor Flynn, thank you very much for that. From my own personal experience, like yourself, when I joined the the Navy back in 1988, it was a full-out ban on the LGBTQ community. And then in 1993, the Don't Ask, Don't Tell became law. And that, as far as I'm concerned, was just a smokescreen because there were still LGBTQ members being discharged at an alarming rate. They just had other ways of doing it. And some of those ways you have pointed out to, they weren't discharged because of who they loved. They were discharged for other reasons that the command found or decided to do. And those are all, like we mentioned, considered bad paper discharge. What we could do in our offices, we could start the process in trying to talk to the right people, trying to get the process going to get the discharge overturned, which is a process in itself. Getting other people involved, advocating for those veterans. But it starts with the veteran themselves to come forward and letting us know that they would like their discharge paperwork, from a bad paper discharge to a good paper discharge. It's a process. It's a process that's not one, easy, or two, going to happen within the next week or month. But one thing that I will say is that the VA is identifying those veterans that did have bad paper discharges because of being LGBTQ, that they are beginning to offer services to those veterans. And how that came about is through advocacy. Mm-hmm. Myself, like yourself, Counselor, we've been down to DC numerous times to talk to our Boston delegation and other representatives and senators down in DC about what they need to do for our veterans and what's in the best interest of our veterans and their families. So being able to do that and talking to our elected officials and tell them that this is wrong, that this needs to be changed, is definitely a way to do it. Earlier in the hearing, there was a question as far as the number of veterans that we have in the city, and I had mentioned that there are some veterans that don't identify as veterans, for whatever reason. This could be, for many veterans, one way that they don't identify as veterans because of the character of their discharge. And that needs to change. That mentality also needs to change. But it all starts with that veteran coming forward and talking to us in our office or talking to their local VSO or anybody else who was able to assist them. There are other lawyers out there that could do these stuff pro bono. Harvard Legal Services could may be able to help. Veteran Legal Services may be able to help as well. But it needs to start with that veteran in wanting to come forward and trying to work on getting their DD-214s changed.
Thank you, Rob. Rob, if anyone's watching on television, Bella, what is the phone number they should contact over at your office?
617-635-3026 or 617-241, spells out vets 8387.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Bella. And if anyone missed that phone number, they can also contact me, and I could give you the commissioner's phone number as well.
Yes.
I don't have any further questions. Just again want to say thank you to the dedicated and professional team over the City of Boston Veterans Department. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Mejia, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair. And I also want to just thank my colleague, Councilor Flynn, for his service and fierce advocacy here on the Council for Veterans. And so, I wanted to just piggyback on a question that Councilor Flynn had asked. I know that Jaime and Tony, they have their statue right in the South End at the Villa where it belongs, about equality, everyday power here. But I'm curious in terms of LGBTQ, what conversations, if any, have been had to have a dedicated space?
Right now, we have not had that conversation, but it's something definitely that we could start talking about.
Yeah, I think so. I think given Councilor Flynn's questions, and I also think just in terms of making sure that people feel affirmed and seen, I think that is worth a conversation to explore at some point. Maybe not this budget cycle, but planting seeds perhaps for the next.
Thank you, Councilor, for sure.
Thank you. Again, thank you for all your service and all your work and dedication to the City of Boston and to the vets. And thank you for your time.
Thank you, Chair. And I want to thank everybody in the Council for all your great, thoughtful questions, and I look forward to continue working on behalf of all our veterans.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we'll move on to Office of Neighborhood Services. And we have with us Chief of Civic Engagement for the City of Boston, Chief Malloy, Executive Director of Office of Neighborhood Services, Executive Director Koloyen, and Director for the Office of Civic Organizing, Director Benitez. Okay, and Director Budo from 311. The floor is now yours.
Good afternoon, councilors and community. My name is Brianna Malloy. I am the Chief of Community Engagement and oversee the Community Engagement Cabinet. It is my pleasure to be here today and present to you our proposed budget. So thank you to our chairman, Councilor Rowell. Thank you to all of our councilor colleagues here as well. Today we'll hear from our leadership team on the proposed budget and some of the great work that we do across the city of Boston that I'm so excited to present to you all today. Some of that work is connecting our residents to city services, responding to emergencies, empowering community members through whether that means our Civic Summit or Love Your Blocks or any of our street activation programs, and also connecting residents to 311 and our services there, and also creating opportunities for our constituents to strengthen their civic engagement throughout the city. So wanted to thank, again, the City Council, our leadership team here at the Community Engagement Cabinet, and of course the Mayor of Boston, Mayor Wu, excited to work under her administration. And also thank you to the community members that are tuning in either online or in the chambers as well. So I want to pass it over, because I have a presentation, to the next slide, and then have my team introduce themselves as they go through their slides.
Good afternoon, councilors. My name is Beata Cologne. I'm the Executive Director of Neighborhood Services, and very proud to be the successor of Councilor Pepin. So great to see you, Councilor. Next slide, please.
Central staff, can you help us? It's like not. Okay. Oh. There we go. Thank you.
So the Office of Neighborhood Services, also known as ONS, consists of a team of 16 neighborhood liaisons, 3 community engagement specialists, 4 deputy directors, and an interfaith liaison. ONS's goal is to bring City Hall to our constituents by building relationships, disseminating information, and facilitating the delivery of city services. Next slide. There are a few roles and responsibilities of the ONS team. ONS maximizes as a whole resident input in all aspects of government. Our liaisons serve as a bridge between the neighborhoods and City Hall and constituent services. Our liaisons are on call 24/7 and respond to neighborhood emergencies, including fires, building collapses, and other city emergencies. Our liaisons deliver direct services to residents. Our community engagement specialists, which are our new team, host and facilitate all abutters meetings for the Zoning Board of Appeals, licensing, and cannabis. And finally, our deputy directors provide training, management, and support to ensure resident concerns are elevated and addressed.
Can we hear that? All right, there we go. Thank you. Thank you, councilors, for having us. I'm Argy Budo. I'm the director at Boston 311. Next slide. Thank you. Boston 311 is the city's 24-hour constituent service hotline. 24/7, 365 days a year, we're always there for calls to come in. We're also the main line to that is responsible for filtering calls and receiving requests to appropriate departments. 311 is one of the data collecting centers for city services to identify trends and resource allocations. We're also able to communicate with constituents in multiple language 24/7, also 365 days a year. Our office comprises of 4 Northeastern co-ops, 28 call takers, 2 supervisors, 1 quality assurance associate, 1 data analytics manager, a content communications manager, deputy director, and the director. The staff works various shifts to make sure we're covered during that 24/7 period. This is just a little bit of our data throughout the past few years. The biggest number here really to look at are the reallocation of cases. This number represents those jurisdictional issues. Sometimes multiple departments need to engage, and these cases are the ones that 311 really has to jump in and assist between departments and flag any issues that we're having. This is a big part of what our QA team does.
Don't worry about that.
Thank you. Yes. The 311 team manages service requests submitted through the Boston 311 app, phone calls, online, email, snail mail, and social media. We answer questions about a wide variety of topics, including basic city services, state and federal questions, outside agencies, such as National Grid and Eversource, and some others, and other day-to-day inquiries that may come in. We work with departments to ensure constituents receive quality and accurate responses. We also gather and track data and run reports for other departments, press inquiries, and FOIA requests, which I think is a big component of 311 that a lot of people don't realize. 311 was actually created so that we can help non-emergency calls that would come into 911 to then come to us. And that way we can really dig deep into the data and figure out where resources should be allocated to. Not the only one, but we're a big part of that process. And we also maintain the mayor's email along with our own 311 email. On top of that, we also try to communicate with 311 call centers across the nation, because again, 311 is not just Boston, it's across the nation, and discussing best practices between different states and cities is really important as well. Thank you. Natalia?
Can we hear? Perfect. Thank you, councilors, and good afternoon. My name is Natalia Benitez-Perez. I am the director of the Office of Civic Organizing. The Office of Civic Organizing works to reduce barriers and expand opportunities for all Boston residents to be active citizens in their communities. Our office is also comprised of a digital and project manager and a community outreach coordinator, so we are a team of 3. We are committed to proactive community engagement, like the Love Your Block initiative that you are very well aware of, Civic Summit, block party grants for street activation, and community-led cleanups that happen all year round, as well as the City Hall and the GO Truck. We also do civic awareness and service in the City of Boston neighborhoods all year round. Next slide, please. All right. And our focus is mainly getting City Hall out of City Hall. So this year, Love Your Block hosted 122 neighborhood beautification and cleanup sites across Boston this April. Our office also supported 38 community-led cleanups, 5 days of service, totaling 73 sites serviced in the entire city. We awarded 51 block party activation grants, totaling $30,000. We completed 36 City Hall on the Go Truck stops to locations around Boston neighborhoods to provide Boston constituents with services brought directly to them. We also are very proud because we launched the Civic Summit at the Howard Thurman Center. This is the first time we host an event like this. We hosted 200 community leaders this past January. Next slide, please. And as part of our OCOF FY25 proposals and goals, we are looking forward to leasing a new City Hall on the Go truck, as our truck is about 10 years old. And we are embracing the possibilities by increasing block party grants to provide opportunities for more neighbors. This is the second year that we are pushing this program that's very, very successful. And we are also looking forward to expand Civic Summit capacity to ensure broader community participation. Thank you.
Thank you. I will be presenting on Spark Boston. Okay, so Spark Boston is about a 40-member council of civically engaged 20 to 35-year-olds. It's an opportunity for them to get connected to the city of Boston, understand resources, and to work on and advise on policy and things that we're working on as a city. Next slide. Again, as I mentioned, it's a 40-member council. This past council cycle, we had 43 members because we had some alumni members that wanted to stay engaged and stay in contact with Spark and just, lend a helping hand. It's officially in this cycle going to be internalized from the BPA because it lived in the BPA and will be housed firmly in the Community Engagement Cabinet. So wanted to just end our presentation by underscoring saying thank you. And I forgot my thank yous to central staff and IGR because every single day you guys work to troubleshoot and problem solve so many things, like my clicker almost. But thank you so much for the work you all do as well. So passing over to the council.
Thank you. Councilor Flynn, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to the administration team for being here, for the important work you do in the community as well. I have great respect for the ONS team. I enjoy working with them. Chief, can you tell me about how district councilors are notified about abutters meetings? Is there a formal process of informing a district city council if there's an abutters meeting in that particular district?
Thank you, Councilor, for that question. One of the key functions that the ONS team kind of carry out, so one of the responsibilities is hosting abutters meetings for different boards through the city. One of the opportunities for councilors to plug in or community members to plug in has been expanded under the new director, so I want to pass it over to her to give more context on what that looks like.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you, Councilor. So one of the things that my predecessor actually brought forward to the council is that our liaisons do maintain up-to-date abutters meetings in their biweekly newsletters. So we do encourage all residents, all city council staff, and councilors to subscribe to those if they would like to. Secondly, we did launch this new community engagement specialist team, which has added capacity to our team. In that regard, I am really excited to announce that this week we did actually even further streamline that process. So if you actually go on www.boston.gov/events, we have added, starting this week, all abutters meetings in that general events page. So for example, if you looked for today's, I believe we have 4 or 5 that we're hosting this evening. And so for the ease of residents and councilors, you'll be able to also view it there, and we'll be maintaining that in the future.
Okay. Well, I just want to, so for district councilors, just tell me what the process is of notifying district councilors of abutters meetings.
So one of the key reasoning behind posting it on the official public page is to make sure we can send, the link to IGR and the different councilors, but that it's readily accessible and it's easy to kind of plug into online. So like everyone has access to it, can go on the events page where also our ONS coffee hours are as well. So everyone can literally be able to access it.
So so district councils are not notified formally. We have to go looking for the information. Is that accurate to say? So again, we can definitely send the link since it's already accessible to everyone. So especially the at-large councilors have multiple neighborhoods, the district councilors have multiple neighborhoods as well. So we wanted to streamline that to make sure it's accessible to all. But we could, after this hearing, we can have, the official link sent over to you guys because it naturally updates. Yeah, I would like to be notified of, I know the information is available by going to various sites, but I would like to request, I don't know if my district councilors also want it, but I would like to be notified of abutters meetings through email so I have a record of it, just so that I can make sure that my staff goes to every abutters meeting in my district. But having an email sent to me would be helpful. Again, I would be interested in hearing from district councilors too if they would like that. And maybe it's a recommendation that we could do is ensure that district councilors are notified if there is an abutters meeting in their district. So that's really my number one issue. Any abutters meetings, I ensure that my staff is there, is present, is engaged, and I have the staff to do that. I know the district councilors also have the staff to do that, but we do want to make sure it is a priority for us to receive that information and to be at those abutters meetings, because it's critical for us to be involved, to be at that meeting. So that's something we are able to do?
So I couldn't agree more. I definitely know that the city council and the district city councilors, care about what's happening each and every block in each and every neighborhood. So I'm definitely happy to follow up after to see what that looks like, for sure.
Okay. Thank you, Chief. And some of the abutters meetings, or actually all of the abutters meetings, there is also notification in terms of leaflet dropping, literature dropping with the public notice of the particular abutters meeting. Can you tell me about that process?
So there is direct flyering done around the whatever proposal or proposed project, or if there's if it's for licensing or et cetera. I could pass it over to their director to explain more about the process.
Sure. So the proponent of the project is in charge, and this predates me, has been the process for several years now, but they are in charge of posting on the neighborhood abutters, and then taking proof of photo so that our office knows that those leaflets have been dropped.
Okay, so the development team basically is responsible for literature dropping of a notice about a particular abutters meeting. Okay. Yep. So how do we know the development team is doing it? I know you mentioned that they will notify you with photos, but how do we actually know that residents are receiving the public notice about a particular meeting?
So we do ask for proof of flyering and sharing with the neighborhood. We also do get emails from confirmation for abutters as well, and we encourage that. We also make sure that the developer knows what the expectations are for flyering, the radius, et cetera, to make sure that they're acting in good faith as well.
Is that literature dropping of abutters meetings, the notice, is that done for every abutters meeting?
I can definitely follow up. From my knowledge, yes.
Okay. So the ONS team would write up that literature piece and then send it to the development team. Is that accurate?
So our new community specialist team is responsible for making the flyer and coordinating the flyer. It includes the information to log on, and if they need language access, stuff like that, to make sure the community has access to join the meeting. One of the things that is really important about the new community specialist team is that it creates capacity for them to, either talk directly to abutters or the developer to streamline the process, so it's not complicated, it's simple and more concise.
So when that community engagement person sends it to the development team, does the community engagement person send it to the mayor's ONS
Yes,
liaison?
the liaisons are aware of all abutters meetings that happen in their neighborhoods.
I'm just requesting for myself, but when that notification goes from the community engagement to the development team, and to the ONS impacted official, could I also receive that document? Because I would like to receive it before the developer. And the reason I would say that is once residents get that flyer and call my office up about it, asking me about a particular issue regarding the proposal and the date, I want to have that information available, ready, and I can speak about it. I don't want residents to tell me about something and I don't know the details of it. But having that document when it goes out from the community specialist to the development team and putting the district councilors on there, I think would be helpful.
That's definitely something we can look into for the new CES team.
Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chair Pepin, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair. Members of the Community Engagement Cabinet, it's good to see you. No surprise, this is a very, one of my favorite departments and conversations in the city. You guys do amazing work. 311, ONS, and Office of Civic Organizing, and Spark. You guys just are out in the community every single day, 24/7, doing good work. My first question is for Chief Malloy. It is regarding your FY25 proposed budget. I do see there's an increase compared to previous years. What can you break down the new investments that are going into your cabinet?
Definitely. So a lot of our, thank you, Counselor, for that question. A lot of our investment are into our people. The community engagement cabinet, because I remember ONS is a piece of the large group of work that we do. The community engagement cabinet really intentionally invested into our people this year and our people power. So whether that means expanding capacity within ONS with our deputy director's model and making sure that we had salary adjustments there, building out our community engagement specialist team has been a priority as we think about the Butters meeting process and how we're engaging residents there. Officially internalizing Spark is one of the key parts of the cabinet adjustment ask as well. And then expanding upon our amazing programming in the Office of Civic Organizing, like the City Hall and the Go Truck. Definitely excited to see a new truck. As Nathalia mentioned, there needs to be a new truck. And it's really exciting to make sure we're going directly to residents and providing resources directly to each and every neighborhood. Some of the investment also looks like expanding our block parties, our civic summit, and making sure we have adequate programming to make sure residents feel empowered and connected to the city.
That's awesome. No, that's very glad to see that you are investing in the people, because obviously you are the community engagement cabinet, and that's what you all represent, is the people. So I'm glad to see that you are paying your employees well. In regards to that, the 311 call takers, what are call takers making these days?
That's a good question. Thank you, Counselor, for that question. One of the key, as I mentioned earlier, one of the key priorities is to make sure that we're supporting our team members, we're supporting our staff, and we know 311 is on the front lines answering calls and solving problems like potholes or any new policy announcement. And it was really important that we invested into our staff this year. And I will pass it over to our director to talk more about salary. She probably knows a little bit more about that stuff, but it's really important that we that we make sure that the 311 call takers feel supported and connected, and that they have the resources and compensation to match.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Counselor, for that question. As we all know, the price of living in Boston is very high compared to other cities, and we wanted to make sure we can have staff that is also comfortable to live in the city. So previously, it was actually starting $42,000. We were able to get that up to $50,000 now, about, and a little change, but we're really happy to invest into our staff. You know, that institutional knowledge, which I think a lot of people might not understand, of how deep 311 needs to be. It's not really like dispatching a question for Age Strong to Age Strong or Veteran Services. You know, we actually try to answer that question without having to bring a constituent round and round. So we did invest a little more previous year compared to what it was, and we're really happy that was able to go through.
No, that's
Sorry, just to add to that too. So we actually do have a salary range. So it also depends on just under like experience and qualifications of the role. But we do have a range from like, I believe 50 to, it's like
63, 64. Yeah.
But 50 is the starting.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I know that was a concern back about retention of employees at 311. So it's good to see that that has increased. I actually do have an abutters meeting question, so I want to follow up on Councilor Flynn's topic. With the creation of the new planning department, I do see a natural shift of abutters meetings from neighborhood services to that new department. Has that conversation happened?
Can you repeat your question?
Has the conversation of shifting abutters meetings from your cabinet to the new planning department started?
So that's a great question, Counselor. So one of the reasoning for building out the community engagement specialist team within the cabinet, one of the visions behind that is to make sure they're connected to the liaisons and making sure that the body that, you know, held the abutters meetings before feel connected to the new process. So this is definitely in the pilot, beginning stages. So we're looking forward to having conversations in the long run, but right now really focus on what that transition looks like to really have a whole other team own those type of processes.
Okay, that's good to know. And in regards to another liaison responsibility is the responding to fires. I know that liaisons go anywhere in the city there's a fire with the displacements. Are there any resources for the liaisons to get to the fire in terms of transportation?
That's a great question. As you mentioned, one of the key responsibilities of each and every liaison, and honestly 301 supports a lot with this as well, as responding to displacements. When our constituents and our residents are in a time of crisis at a fire or water main break, and ONS and our ONS team respond. So I want to pass it over to our director to kind of answer more in depth of that question.
Yeah, so this year we also did launch formal transportation. As you mentioned, our liaisons are responding all over the city, and I'm sure as a former director, sometimes the burdens that can happen with our younger team. So there is an account, like a transportation account that's been made, that's like a rideshare app that they can use if they'd like to. Most still opt into using their own vehicle if they'd like to, but they do have that option.
That's great. So that's brand new.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's really good to know, just because I know that as we're trying to move away from liaisons using vehicles, it's good to know that they have another option at their disposal. Then my last question is for Director Benitez. It's good to see you here in this role. Congratulations on doing amazing Love Your Block events across the city. We had some great ones in my district. But my question is actually regarding your Civic Summit event. Are we planning on doing more of those in the future? And if so, are we going to spread them around the neighborhoods? And what's the future of the Civic Summits?
I think the Civic Summits, just to answer your question directly, it's one, as the director mentioned, it's the first one this year. What we've seen was an overwhelming amount of support and wanting to get involved. So I definitely believe there's expansion, and I'm really excited, as you mentioned, about Natalia stepping into the role and owning such a big, huge project. So I wanted to pass it over to her and what that looked like to kind of understand the capacity and just the excitement that came from the event.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you, Councilor, for that question. The Civic Summit was a great event. We had 200 civic leaders, very engaged throughout a 8 to 9 hour event. It was great. There are plans to keep expanding what this event will be. However, for the next few years, our vision is to continue hosting one big event, because one of the principles of this event is getting people out of their neighborhoods and get to know one another as a networking piece for the city. Sometimes our neighbors are doing amazing work, but they oftentimes don't know what other neighbors are also doing in their own neighborhoods. And we believe that this connection really fosters, more initiative, more connectedness, and just better connectivity in the city of Boston.
Thank you for that. And just once again, thank you so much for all the work you do, to the four of you and to your team. Congratulations, and just looking forward to what you're able to accomplish in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Mejia, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair. It's good to see you all. Bada, I want to start with you, Bada, because I'm really excited to see you in this role, having worked with you in a different capacity in a very different time. And what I really do appreciate about your leadership is that even when we were on opposite ends of a conversation, you never stopped seeing me as a community organizer and as a parent. And you were able to embrace all of my rough edges. And when we're talking about community engagement and we're talking about being advocates, sometimes people lose sight of all of the energy that people bring into a space, and with good reason, oftentimes because we have lost faith in government and or institutions. And so I just want to acknowledge your ability to navigate that very difficult time many years ago when there was so much heated debate between very opposing views. And I just remember how you were able to just stay real grounded in that. And that's why I'm so incredibly encouraged that you are at the helm when it comes to working, because everyone here in the city of Boston has history, has trauma, has a suitcase full of drama. and so all of that work comes with really building trust. And if we don't have trust, then people are going to say that everything that we're doing is just for show. And so I'm just really encouraged that you are overseeing that department, because I've seen your leadership in other spaces and places. And so welcome to the madness. And I'm looking forward to being as supportive as I can be to make sure that you are set up for success, right? And so whatever that looks like, I welcome you to reach out to me. I know IGR got to be in the mix at all times, but like, you know, you have my direct line. And so I'm excited about your leadership in this space. And so welcome. I know it's been a while, but you know, it's your first official situation here with us. And so I would love to hear from you directly in terms of your vision. How do you see ONS interfacing and interacting and engaging with the City Council? And I asked that question, I'm not asking for butters, meetings, notices. That's not what I'm getting at. For me, I really do, having been here now for 4 years, really am looking for some guidance in ways in which the administration and the outreach and engagement specifically, because that's the thing that I deeply care about. What's your vision for strengthening relationships with the district councilors and at-large councilors as you continue to move through this work? Because what I often see is that we feel sometimes left out of conversations, and not just intentionally, it's just so much is happening. But kind of what is your vision around strengthening the relationship between ONS and the council?
Thank you, Counselor, and thank you for your kind words. I think I've known you for almost a decade now.
Yeah,
maybe even
we go way
longer.
back. See, and to know me is to love me, and so you have.
Yeah. I think for me, just like a philosophy I have with ONS in general is just one-on-one relationships. Of course, acknowledging that IGR is, you know, always involved. But one of the things that we talk almost every day about in ONS is connecting with folks one-on-one. So whether that's, you know, with staff, but really what I'm talking about is with residents and hearing them and seeing them and learning about, you know, their past and why they might feel disenfranchised or disconnected from government. I really actually believe that the work starts there. And so in that regard, you know, as my staff are meeting with folks on the ground one-on-one, then working together and seeing, is our office the best office to work with them? Is it a council's office, et cetera? I think just to ground in the first remarks of your conversation, it's always going to go back to what the people need. And so that's where I'd like to start the conversation. And from there, we can figure out who's the best equipped to assist them.
Yeah, I want to just offer that in terms of communication. I think that sometimes, and you know, Chief, you were on the other side, so you've had the luxury of both being on the council and now serving in this capacity. So I'm sure you understand kind of like the line of question and where we're going here, and what opportunities do you envision can exist to strengthen our communication? Vice versa, right? Because sometimes our offices just go to 311, which you guys are amazing. We go to you for everything. But I just really think, because when I'm out in these streets, I think that if people see us as we're supporting each other's work, then everyone wins. What happens and what I have seen in certain spaces and places, and this has been historically since I've walked into this building, is that there's somewhat of a disconnect. And I'd love to think about what a more integrated process could look like when we're trying to help support our constituents.
Definitely. Just to comment on that, I could not underscore enough how excited I am that Beata has joined and taken on this role, and really brought her expertise from all of her, you know, not just professional experience but lived experience into this, and really centering people in a lot of the work that she does and instills in the liaisons. One of the things that is a priority for our cabinet in connecting with the council, for example, one of the initiatives that our director of 311 started was making sure the councilors had opportunity to tour 311, understand 311, and understand the intricacies of what that looks like on the back end, so we can both understand what our challenges are, but as well as what our triumphs are, what are things that we should be celebrating and amplifying in each and every neighborhood. We also have ONS every Friday doing coffee hours. We look forward to having the council members and other, you know, elected officials participating in them. It's an opportunity to talk directly to residents, but also, sometimes they're hosted in businesses. It's also an opportunity to connect with different businesses in each and every neighborhood as well. We also look forward to having a deeper conversation about, a hearing that the chairman did propose on supporting different civic associations. So we look forward to figuring out how we can support civics as a partnership between our cabinet and the council as well.
Thank you. My time is going to run out, and I'm going to assume that we will have a second round, so I'll respectfully wait for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Fernandez Anderson, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Hello, everyone. Chief, can you tell me about your personnel budget? It seems like it's taking a significant increase to $1,024,243. Can you explain how you've budgeted and the reasons for that?
Yeah, so most of our budget overall is personnel. So as I mentioned a little bit earlier, what we intentionally did this year is it invested into our staff. I want to pass it over to Beata because one of the big chunks of the personnel investment was ONS. We realized we wanted to not only invest into the liaisons professionally, we wanted to make sure that they were supported, that they had wraparound services because they have a tough job. They respond to emergencies when people are in crisis.
That your staff does?
Yeah. They have a tough job.
Can you break that down, wraparound services for your staff?
Okay, repeat that. Repeat what you just said. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Can you tell me what type of wraparound services?
So we have, whether that means public speaking trainings, mental health. We had a, retreat last year to make sure they have understanding how to have tough conversation, how to have tough discourse. We want to make sure they have the tools to be successful, not just in this job, but any single job that they want to do after this. And one of the key functions to what that looks like is having a stronger deputy director model. But I wanted to pass over to Beata to talk a little bit more about the structure.
Does that mean you increase in staff
Yes.
But the professional development stuff, supports, that's not under personnel?
It isn't. So we already have professional development allocated.
Is that
in
a
our budget.
staff person?
It's a funding source. So we contract out sometimes to different people to.
So in contractual services?
It is, yeah.
Thank you. So the 1 million, and so that's basically increasing staff, make sure you're respecting them and paying them well enough.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll talk about contractual funds aside. But it doesn't seem like you have a lot. You're just going from you're getting a 20,000 increase in contractual services, which is not a lot. I would advocate for more. And I've been advocating as well for 311, and we talked about this, right? In terms of folks receiving crisis calls, trauma, it's traumatic within itself, but then dealing with it and all of that. And then last year we tried to create an amendment. We actually passed the amendment. I don't know what happened to the money. We didn't follow it up, but it was $50,000 specifically for this type of mental health supports and services. I do want to understand a little bit about your contractual services in terms of demographics. You didn't submit the information, so if you could send it through the chair.
Definitely.
I appreciate that. Just, our job, figuring out equity and are we meeting our standards for BRJP and stuff like that. I would appreciate that. And then your Spark person has been appointed or hired, so it was missing from the org chart.
He literally started this week. Yeah.
Okay, so you submitted this early. Thank you. I appreciate that. Could you please submit on record your org chart? We asked for company salaries, but that was missing as well. I mean, I looked it all up. Don't want to talk about it out loud per se, but did have some concerns about folks who've been here a while, their salaries, especially women, in comparison to new folks that are getting paid more than them. So just didn't want to cause too much or call out numbers, but just to be fair, and equitable, I think we need to take a look at that. And if that means we're, looking at fair compensation, especially for women, I'm preaching to the choir. I understand that you have that same position. So I saw those numbers, and I was a little concerned, but I understand retaining people, right? New people, and you're like, you want to pay them well, want to make it attractive, right? We want to bring people in, but at the same time, there's some people that's been putting in some really hard work, and then they're now like less than the new people coming in. And so that was something that I just wanted to bring it out. Also, employees who are women, your 23 was 55, projected 24, 55. These are numbers of employees that are women. And then targeted 40. Why? Target for FY25, only 40. It went down 15. Is that a typo?
I can look into that and have AGR follow up after.
Please. This is in your R5, page 15. And then employees of color seems to also take like a one number hit. It came from FY23, 49, FY24, 51, and then 25 going to 50. So just wondering, are we losing a staff? What's happening there? I think in terms of programmatic, the clock stopped working. No, I'm kidding. I know that. Hate your clock. In terms of programmatic stuff, I'll wait for round 2. The number questions I can submit on record, and we can figure that out. I think your department does amazing work. Shout out to Iggy. Like, you are always there. I haven't had the opportunity, you guys knew, but I know that you are amazing at what you do, responsive, and you really put in the work. Appreciate you working with my team. There's never like this level of like, I am the queen, kiss the ring. I really appreciate that because that means access, that means inclusion and transparency, and I appreciate you.
Thank you.
I did look at your numbers. Your calls are going down by hundreds. What's going on? Did we fix half the problems?
Well, a big part right now, actually, mattresses was a huge thing last year. I'm sure, as many of you counselors know. We actually just launched a way to schedule it from the website. So the numbers hopefully will come back down and we can take longer on these phone calls that do require more attention. And I'm sure there's always going to be something else to spike up the numbers again. But the app, it looks like more people are putting things in through the app as well, which is huge. It's really helpful for us because you can upload photos. Whereas through a phone call, you can't upload a photo as easy, and that makes it a little more difficult for departments to see and distinguish how severe an issue is. So that is a big part of it. So putting in more tech services is really helpful. One, obviously for the staff ourselves to bring down numbers, because they're taking, depending on your shift, but 100 to 200 calls a day can really take a turn on someone's mental health as well, especially the type of calls that might come in. Like you had mentioned, there's distress calls, there's mental health calls that come in that need assistance. It's not just that, hey, there's a pothole here that needs to be fixed. That oftentimes is how 311 is kind of categorized, but there are a lot of things that do come in. So we're actually, in a way, grateful that numbers are a little bit going down for phone calls, just because that gives us more time to really help a constituent fully out and really hear them out, rather than saying, all right, thanks, I got it. I'm going to send this little bit of information across. Now we can really say, hey, can you please thoroughly explain the situation for us? And again, the technology is great to help for those who might not be comfortable calling, but we'll always be there for a phone call as well.
Thank you so much. My time's up. I'll come back, but I would be remiss if I didn't say, Chief, I've always thought you were brilliant, but to see you get better and better and better at this job is really commendable, and I appreciate you. Obviously, I'm a fan, so but we'll do the questions on program after this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilor Weber. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair. I guess my first question is about 311. I feel like that a lot of times when something's happening and someone needs to call 311, it's because there's sort of a like in between nature of their problem, and that something has occurred because it's kind of in between two departments, and that sometimes when they get they actually it gets addressed, they kind of end up, they get sent one place, and it's like, well, this isn't Public Works, it's someplace else. What does your office do to make sure people get an answer, not just referred to one place where they'll be sort of batted around to different departments?
I actually want to chime in before I pass it over to the director, because cases are, obviously submitted to 311, but one of the key collaborations that happen in our cabinet is ONS and 311. Liaisons are also working with 311 call takers to unstick more complex cases that need to have a go-between. But one of the key investments that we kicked off last year was one member of our quality assurance team, and we look forward to expanding there, but I wanted to pass it over to the director to talk more about what that looks like.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you, Counselor, for that question. This is the part where training is huge for our staff. Unfortunately, the systems are limited. So sometimes when a call goes to, let's say, directly to Public Works rather than calling 311, a Public Works employee may only really know about Public Works, right? Whereas 311 is trained to really know a little bit about everything. So they can kind of make those connections to say, hey, this sounds like a BTD issue, but it could also be Public Works or Parks Department, right? Because sometimes those lines are really blurred. So what we'll do is we'll actually just send a case to all of them. And part of it is, again, a limited system. So sometimes you'll see, numbers will seem bigger than they are in some ways, because we want to make sure all these departments are really handling the issue. And to avoid that constituent having to call Public Works or call BTD, we're like, no. 311 is that one stop. Constituents shouldn't have to call departments to figure out what's going on with their case. That should be our job. And that's part of the big reason why we're building out that QA team, the quality assurance team, to make sure these issues are resolved before a constituent even has to call back and follow up on it.
Okay, and along the same lines, is there any way for people to track who has looked at that complaint, who's been responding to that complaint through the 311 system? If we get somebody who's filed something, it might help is there a way to track that?
So, as some of you guys may know, our system's actually really old. It's from 2006, I believe. So we're actually in the process of getting a new system, and one of our requirements are those notifications for constituents. Right now, most of our technology is a different contractor. The app is through a third party. The CRM system internally is through a third party. So we are looking at making that more streamlined so that whenever something might get reallocated to a different department, they'll get that notification. Or say, hey, this is scheduled to, like a tree trimming, let's say, those take some time. Hey, this is scheduled 4 months from now, or whatever it might be. So that is in the works. But they can also still call 311. There's internal notes that we see that, unfortunately, again, systems are limited, so it can't be put out there just yet. But following up with us and saying, hey, I wanted to check in my case, there's internal notes that we can see and provide to the constituent as well.
Okay. And so, I think it might be helpful. Some of my staff who was the JP liaison said it might be helpful, if we know who specifically worked on the case. And so we could then not have to start from scratch if there's a related case or if somebody's following up with, what had happened. And then you mentioned, Brianna, Chief, you mentioned quality assurance. How many quality assurance people are working for you?
So we received one last year, and we just as an experimental to see how much it would have an impact, and we've seen that in the numbers that you kind of got on the slides that it does help with at least one person helps with a lot of unsticking a lot of the complex cases and connecting with different departments. But we do look forward to expanding the team's capacity in the years to come.
Okay. Do you have any for the next year? Are you going to expand that?
yeah, we look forward to like seeing what that looks like in the future.
Okay. Do you have a plan for how many more positions?
We're doing, based on our call volume, we're looking for at least a team of 3 in its totality. So we look forward to seeing, like, really building the pilot, like, it feels like a pilot now because it's just one person, but we look forward to kind of building out that team for sure.
Okay, and then in the RFI, we asked about budget increases, and maybe one of the biggest ones was permanent employees, and it's 51000, and it's 767,000, and the explanation was a lot of different things, and I was just wondering, it lists like ONS reorganization, liaison compensation evaluation, transfer of Spark, Boston, 301 call takers move to AFSCME, and step increases. Can you just identify like how much of that money is going to each of these things? Or is this 767,000? Do you have? Maybe you can share with my office.
I can have IGR follow up because they have like a sheet that has the internal breakdown, but I'm assuming that's what you're asking.
Yeah,
what is the breakdown of each one?
Yeah, I'm just wondering for how much is going to each one. And the liaison compensation evaluation, is that?
Oh, that means like step increases or giving like reevaluating their salary, of course, according to the job description and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was hoping money would go to increase salary for liaisons. But reading this, I was wondering if we're spending money to
no, that's
answer
the
question
actual.
of whether they need to.
No, sorry,
Yeah.
that is the actual amount to give them increase their salaries. Yeah.
Okay, good to hear.
Yeah.
I love to see them.
That makes sense.
Receive more compensation.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Council President Louis-Jen, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for being here with us today. I have questions, actually one that dovetails off of a question that Councilor Weber asked about systems. I think you stated that the CRM system right now is managed through a third party. Mm-hmm. What third party is that, and what exactly are we looking to upgrade to?
So before I pass it over to the director, we're in hours of demos of understanding a potential new CRM system. It's important that we have certain elements of that system, like of course you guys mentioned, like having notifications and then identifying duplicates, things like that. But I'll pass it over to our director to talk about more in the weeds on that.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Counselor, for the question. The systems are actually living under Do It, so they would be able to fully talk about the systems more directly. Legally, because we're in an RFP, I'm not sure exactly how I can state the names of the CRM systems. So I just want to I'm happy to check offline about that.
You can say the name of the current
one. Oh, the current one, sorry. We're currently with Verint, and this is more of, so just background on it, we did have the system in 2006. There was a project started that we found wasn't the right way to go, wasn't what we wanted it to do. So that program was scratched, and that's why we're now in the new stages of receiving a new RFP or a CRM system through the RFPs. We're almost there, so I'm really excited about that. Does that answer your question? Was there?
It does. Okay. And so there's some synergy between what Councilor Weber was stating and what Councilor Mejia was saying in terms of like we oftentimes are dealing with similar constituents and what, even if, as this council has several times looked at CRM systems to invest in, if there were multiple licenses in a CRM system that was determined and even, determining there are probably ways for Do It or someone else to be involved with determining whether an additional license could be granted for the council. And even if, like, for whatever reason, political or otherwise, information wanted to be proprietary, it could still be involved with some information sharing to, like, at least know to the extent to which, like, this constituent has called with a question. Because oftentimes our work ends up being duplicative. And it ends up being this way, well, like, I'm going to work on this first, or, and where actually if the problem has been solved or someone is dealing with the problem, it's known, and so that the city council knows it. And so that everyone, an admin knows it. and that could be solved by the council having an additional license that has like limited permissions, but we're like all operating the same system. So just want to put that as an idea. So I'd love to sort of learn about who you ultimately end up choosing as the CRM system after the RFP process. I have a question just in terms of, and I got an earful yesterday, as I should have, from a civic leader in talking about how meetings are scheduled at the same time on issues of great importance to a neighborhood. And I'm wondering like what work is done in your department to ensure that like that is not happening, because it's very difficult, especially for people who are civic leaders in their community, to try to make that meeting on White Stadium and go to their meeting and go to the abutters meeting. So like, is there work being done to make sure that that isn't happening?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that question, Counselor. It is important that we create spaces for residents to engage and learn new information. Through that, challenge is making sure that we're being mindful of when things are happening in each neighborhood or in each community. We definitely try to make sure we're flagging for liaisons, different departments that are probably hosting meetings and things like that. But when things like that come up, please just let us know too, so we can be mindful. But there's a lot going on, and we want to make sure that neighbors have opportunity to engage.
Thank you. I think this specific person flagged it for you, and so flagged it for me, flagged it for a lot of people. So I just wanted to put it out there, you know. I think also part of the issue is in building the bench of civic leaders, and I don't know necessarily if that's the role of the city per se, but I think it's something else that was also elevated where, you know, Mattapan is going to have a new liaison, and I am always, you will hear me in every hearing, in every meeting talking about how we need to make sure that we are paying our people what they're worth, especially in a city like Boston, that's the second most expensive city to rent. And so I'm not trying to say that people should be stagnant in positions, but we also want to build for neighborhoods, like a neighborhood like Mattapan, civic leaders from within. And so I'm wondering, like, you know, hopefully we get a really great liaison for the Mattapan neighborhood, but also think about what it looks like for the city to be helping to spread sort of the responsibility of work that happens within a neighborhood, so that we're not always going to one civic leader, or so that the civic leaders don't have to take the time to really be doing the training of, you know, of a new liaison every time, like, oh, who are the players, who are the people? So maybe that's the work that you're doing in increasing people's salaries, because I think that's important, right? I think it's important for people to have training, but like, how are we making sure that you are building a powerful bench within your liaisons of people who want to be neighborhood leaders?
Definitely want to underscore that we have such an amazing team, and because of that, they go on to do great and beautiful and wonderful things that impact different neighborhoods. One of the things that was the driving vision behind the Civic Summit was to have a mix of our civic leaders and our up-and-coming leaders, and it's a really opportunity for not just them to connect with city services and understand how the city works, but to connect with each other so they can also self-empower, as we're also empowering through the Office of Civic Organizing. One of the other pieces that we're looking forward to is, you know, making sure that our civic leaders, our civic associations are, you know, feeling connected to the city, and that they have, you know, support and resources as well where we can, and looking forward to continue that conversation with the council as well. And we know building a bench means like making sure we have intergenerational meetings, that we have accessible meetings, that we have opportunities to engage, multiple opportunities to engage on a project, whether that means attending a meeting or having multiple meetings on the same topic, or having a Google sheet, or whatever that looks like. So there is multiple opportunities to engage.
And Chief, I'm really happy that I helped get the council's clock, but it also applies to me. So I just want to say that when I say building a bench, I also mean like renters. And I say this all the time, like, not just the folks who end up, power is a weird word to use, but who end up having power. And like, we need to spread what that looks like in our neighborhoods. Definitely. And it has to, like, we need to be aware of issues of classism that present themselves. And if we're trying to build the city that we want, it does involve people who are renting and people who are traditionally seen as civic leaders. So I have other questions, but I have to respect the clock. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Santana, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you so much for the administration for being here. Nice to see you all. I've worked very closely with you all, and congratulations Beata on the new role. So great to see you. And Natalia, so great to see you doing amazing work. So we'll actually start with the Office of Civic Organizing Chief, as this is one that's very personal to me. Glad to see the investments in this new City Hall to-go truck. Love to see the increased numbers of cleanups. The Civic Summit, I had the chance to attend it, and I think to your remarks, I think we definitely saw the demand of civic leaders who want this space and who want this opportunity to collaborate and find out more about the work that they're doing. All that to say, I'm very, very much impressed with the Office of Civic Organizing, the work that they're doing. My question is now, this is now the third year that the Office of Civic Organizing is open, and they still have 3 staff members. Are there any plans for that to be increased? I see that programming is increasing, and I just want to make sure that the staffing levels are meeting the needs of the office.
One, I appreciate your leadership and your advocacy. We know that the Office of Civic Organizing is a small but mighty team, but there definitely is an appetite to increase capacity for sure.
Okay, great. I will, love to go on the record of just advocating for that, and I think that will also, I think, Natalia, you have an incredible team, and I just want to make sure that, including yourself, that you all feel supported as programming is increasing. 311 is an office that we all use, that we all promote, and just had the opportunity to actually go visit your new office this past week, and just really appreciate in general just how accessible 311 has been, but the entire cabinet, your liaisons, Beata as well. Going to a question that my council colleague, Councilor Weber, had about the quality control. I know you mentioned that you currently have 1, you're moving to 3. What would 3, in an ideal world, what would 3 quality control members, workers look like, and the impact that the 3 will have versus the 1 that you have right now?
So it is important that, as I mentioned earlier, the quality assurance team really embodies the vision of making sure that we're giving quality services to our constituents, and that's first and foremost, because we know when we give good quality work, we build trust with different residents and in different neighborhoods, and they're able to trust not just the 311, but they're able to trust any city entity they interact with. So I can pass it over to the director to just really talk about the quality assurance team. Again, we've seen with that 1 member that there is an increase in effectiveness of the calls and success of calls, so wanted to pass it over to the director.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Counselor. A big part of QA is really seeing what's going on with the cases and what the responses are from other departments and what the constituents knowing, right? As you can see from just our calls alone, almost 350,000 calls a year, depending on the year, of course, but there's a lot of cases and calls that come in through that way, and all of those should be accounted for. Having 1 QA person for almost 350,000 calls, let alone the double amount of cases that might be coming in along with that, we really need like a bigger team to go through all those. QA is broken up in multiple sections, right? Like you have QA of the staff itself, making sure our staff is also knowing what's going on, and making sure that cases are going to the right department. So that's kind of what our current QA team is doing, or person is doing, just really monitoring our own staff. But the plan is to monitor all of it. Like we want to monitor all the cases, all the phone calls that are coming in, and making sure they're accounted for and making sure we're following up on it. So that's why 3 would be like a good start to really build out what we want this quality assurance team to look at. And then obviously as years go on, 311's always growing, calls are always going to be coming in, the city itself is always growing, so eventually we're going to need more too, but 3 is our good start just to kind of break it up for managing the callers, managing the cases, and then managing training too. And that's kind of how I'm envisioning breaking up the QA team.
Great, thank you. I definitely want to go on the record of advocating for that, of making sure that there's good quality on that end, and we would be remiss by not mentioning, just thanking you for your leadership, Director, and have been able to see you grow and flourish in this new role, and just love the team that you're building and continue to lead over there in 311. With ONS, on the front lines of so many issues, and I think as some of my council colleagues, how do we get, oftentimes ONS liaisons specifically are, young, maybe out of college, but it's such a demanding role. As you mentioned in your presentation, 24/7. I know Chief talked about, the mental health services that you may provide. Can you speak more to that? And maybe Chief, you can speak more to that in terms of just the whole cabinet. It's a demanding job, and I want to make sure that, that it's a sustainable job for people to come and enjoy.
Thank you for that question, Counselor. I would love to take that honestly, because one of the key things that has been the underlining tone and the leadership of all the people here is making sure that our staff feels supported. It is, we are a cabinet that always is in the community, always confronted with residents, and trying to solve complex problems, which can be challenging. So one of the things that we did last year, and we look forward to doing a lot more this year, and that we also did this year, is hold different training sessions and seminars on, again, how to public speak, how to be, mindful of your mental health, how to deal with very sometimes tough conversations, because when we know that people are equipped with the tools and trainings to be successful, they're more likely to, be able to be, feel more well-rounded and really focus on their wellness. And I think it also signals to our team that wellness is a priority, and we want to make sure that we're attending to the whole person, not just them as an employee. So that's some of the things. One of the things that we pride ourselves on doing is actually, as a leadership team, doing professional development. We've had ERGI go out to a 3-in-1 conference in the nation to figure out best practices, whether that means how we schedule, how we create space, and I'm excited for the new office as well. That all lends to having a better quality experience at work. So we're trying to do it in little and big ways, or also figuring out how we're thinking about the community engagement specialist team as well. So we're thinking about capacity as we're really building out a team. So again, just underscoring, our team is we have to prioritize our people, and that's always just been a priority to this group.
Great, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. I know my time's up. I just want to end by saying just thank you for all of you for all the incredible work you do. I know some of my colleagues also mentioned of just access to you all. I think because my office is very proactive in reaching out to y'all, we've had no issues, especially with the liaisons who are on the ground. You're doing incredible work, incredibly accessible to our office, and I just want to thank you all for the work that you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Mejia, the floor is yours.
I hope you don't say I owe you a favor, because I don't like.
You know you do.
I don't like to owe anyone anything. I appreciate your grace. So I have to go. So he's allowing me to go before him, just so you understand the behind the scenes chatter here. So I just have a few questions, and I really do appreciate. And I'm looking forward to understanding. And, Chief, when we had a previous administration, I always talked about the fact that those who are in good graces usually get all their things done in a timely fashion. And those who are less, or the ones who are a little bit more rambunctious, usually have to hope and pray that their cases get heard, and we may not have that relationship. And so I'm curious about how are you in your leadership really looking at understanding that regardless of whether or not politically people may not be kumbayaing, that at the end of the day our job is to serve constituents, and so that we have to really look beyond our political differences to build relationships that serve our constituents. So while some folks may have easy access to all and everything, There's some folks who don't. And so how are you reconciling with that?
So thank you for that question, Counselor. So the way I envision our cabinet is to make sure that we're connecting with every single neighborhood and community leader. Our council members, all of you all, are community leaders. You're in the neighborhood every day. I see you guys all the time, and it's an opportunity to understand and delve into issues, because sometimes you understand the complexity of things that, maybe the liaison or someone in leadership doesn't understand. So I definitely look forward to making sure we're partnering on different, concerns and projects, and always looking for opportunities to understand complexities of issues that you're seeing in your respective neighborhoods as well. One of the other things that is important for us is building those partnerships. Like I mentioned earlier, having, counselors reached out to visit 311, understand 311, having every single counselor, making sure that they're invited and counselors are invited to participate and our, field Fridays and our coffee hours and things like that. Those are opportunities to do that feel small, but they're huge. They're opportunities to understand complexities of what's happening in neighborhoods and being in the neighborhood with each and every liaison. So I definitely look forward to future partnerships and making sure there is definitely a streamlined communication between council and our teams.
Thank you for that. I'm going to talk a little bit now about the civic organizing. I think that when we're looking at channeling people's energy, particularly when there's an issue or something that everyone's like gung-ho about, I really do believe that your department is well suited to kind of channel people's energy in ways that are going to help solve the problem, not create more, right? So that's how I envision a lot of the work that you all are doing. And I'm just curious, in your role, even though it's only been a short period of time, but you've done a lot in a very short period of time. I'm curious, what do you envision for when you think about civic organizing and you think about the constant issues that bubble up to the top? Like, how do you cultivate that energy in ways that are bringing people in, not just calling them out?
Thank you, Counselor, for your question. Like Counselor Santana said, this is the third year of our office, so we're still a baby office with a small team. We're rapidly growing our initiatives and our outreach methods and the ways that we connect with community. But if I were to look at the future and imagine what this office could be, I really think we should be serving as a civic educational office to really empower residents through information and through education to know how to advocate for themselves and for the rest of the communities.
Yeah, so I wish I could put that on rewind, because that's exactly what I envision for your office, because I think so much of the work, oftentimes the civic associations, right, you guys can play such a crucial role in helping to inform and engage. And then there are those who aren't as engaged, right? Because always the ones who are showing up, those are the ones who get what they want. I'm concerned about those who are most impacted but don't show up. And I think that is where the area of growth is. And then I think that you guys are well suited to fill that gap, and whatever I can do to help support that, I'd love to do that. Now I have 2 more minutes left, and I'm really curious, and I'm sure, Chief, you might be able to provide some insight. And if I can get one more question, it'll be around 311. But I'm curious, who is your cabinet responsible for, or has any role in like the conversations around White Stadium, the Blue Hill Ave redesign? So I'm curious, especially because the goal really is to help people understand that we are listening to them. So can you talk to me a little bit about kind of what some of the lessons you have learned based on some of those other meetings that have happened in the past, and what your vision is for moving forward in terms of repairing that harm and helping people see that they are being heard? And if I can get one more question, and it's around 311, I'd love to really underscore the importance of us being able to have access to, if you could provide a sense of like vision so that we can know where cases stand. Because oftentimes people are calling us, and I know they're calling you, and I'm like, it would be great to have some data mind space for us to be able to like click and view. So if you don't have it, would love to know what it could look like and what we need to do to provide it. Okay, Chief, for my last 57 seconds.
Okay, definitely thank you for those questions. one of the beauties about the Community Engagement Cabinet is that we come up as we show up as our full selves. We know that there's communities within the city or in this country that has distrust in government. So our identities are deeply tied to how we go about this world and how we go about this work. So to your question on righting past wrongs and also making sure that we're being attentive to the community, I'm really excited to work for an historic administration that has always centered in remedying historic wrongs. It's important that our role in those very tough conversations are often, informing, if it's Blue Hill Ave, the Streets Cabinet, for example, on, how we should go about formulating meetings, frequency of meetings, what that, the format of meetings often, and also making sure that that when residents speak to us, because we have our liaisons going out to community meetings almost every single night, and they hear direct feedback from residents, and also going outside of just regular traditional civic meetings and going to where residents are and hearing that very authentic feedback that we hear in different pockets of each neighborhood and bringing that back to inform the process. Again, we also know that a lot of these projects have context. White Stadium has context that predates me, so does Blue Hill Ave, and making sure that that context is also brought into the conversation as well. So I think we look forward to having more conversations on both those projects. Although they don't live in our cabinet, we do participate in making sure that feedback is flowing through each and every department. And to that, to Erky's point, I just want to to your point about 301, I want to just underscore that with updates in the system that we hope to have, I think we could definitely look into what that looks like, but wanted to make sure that at least we're having those conversations that the director has hosted to make sure each counselor knows what it looks like now and how there may be barriers of engagement, but that we look forward to making sure there is a partnership there. But if you wanted to add to that.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you for that question. I think it is really important, not just for a counselor or for a staffer on our side of it, to see what's going on. Constituents should be too. And I don't think anyone should be limited to what they can see. Of course, there are internal things that might just not be fully on there because of
privacy.
Yeah, exactly. There are reasons on there for some things, but we are really excited with some of the vendors that we have seen and some of the capabilities that they do have of creating multiple profiles for these matters. So I'm excited, and I think you guys will be too once we're finally through the weeds of all this.
Okay. Well, I'll just end with saying thank you. Thank you for your work. It's deeply appreciated. And thank you, Chair, for allowing me to go before you. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Durkin, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Chair, and it was great. I was just in the West End with Ciara, who does such a great job with me on the West End, and I think this cabinet in particular is really the cabinet that works in partnership with all of city services, and have been really grateful. Actually, Ergy, I'm just realizing that I think it was 8 months ago this week, you toured me around 311, and we really got a good idea of what your office does. And it's been, a whirlwind, being someone who didn't come from city government and learning about all of the tools. I mean, I was someone who called 311, I was someone who used 311, but then seeing everything that you and your staff are doing just so quickly, and how much technical aspect there is to that work. I'm really grateful. And then obviously, Chief Mallour, we've just been working together in the trenches for community for a really long time, so I'm grateful. And I was really excited about Beata's appointment, having been working in politics and been working adjacent to you and getting to see your work. I'm really excited. And last but not least, I think we've gotten to see you and Natalia just create great things through Love Your Block and the Civic Summit. And just, I'm really excited to be in front of this panel because I know what incredible work that you're all doing. And then I'd be, last but not least, I'd want to shout out Mac and Bonner, who is with my team and has been stolen by ONS for the greater good. But we just met yesterday in our first monthly meeting, and we're in a unique place because we have he has 4 of our neighborhoods, and Ciara has the 5th neighborhood. So it's really great to have 2 ONS liaisons I can really rely on and work in partnership with. I mostly wanted to come and say those things, but also I wanted to sort of follow up on some of the council president's questions about implementation of the new 311 system, and just curious sort of when we can see those changes, and then what that looks like, and what kind of functionality you guys are looking for in a new program.
So I wanted to underscore kind of a point that the director, Argy, mentioned earlier. So the process really lives with Do It, so we can't answer like in the weeds questions, but I know that this is an opportunity to expand on the needs that we get feedback from residents all the time, and making sure that's implemented. Like I mentioned, maybe duplicate cases as an example, how to remedy stuff like that. But as we go through the process, like happy to keep some of the counselors in the loop.
Thank you. And we absolutely are winning awards for like the work that our technology department is doing. And so while acknowledging that maybe some things are clunky and maybe it takes a long time to like input certain things, because I got to see it in action through that tour, that being said, everyone's doing their best and getting as much information, and the fact that you guys are looking at maps, looking at the program, identifying which park there's a problem in, I was just like floored by just what you guys are all doing all together at once. So and then obviously I'm a big proponent of cleanup, so wanted to talk more about sort of how we could get those things going all year round, and was honored to borrow 10 of your brooms for a knockoff Love Your Block thing in Beacon Hill. So I know a lot of us are still doing knockoff Love Your Block, but Love Your Block did go really well. So just curious if there's an expansion plan for that.
Thank you for your question, Counselor. It was a pleasure to lend you the rooms anytime. So Love Your Block is historically a citywide beautification, big cleanup in all the neighborhoods. This year we had 3 weekends due to the growth. It has historically been 2 weekends. We had to expand. Historically, we used to get about 700 to 1,200 volunteers. This year, we have over 2,300. So we have grown a lot in the last year. However, we do offer community-led cleanups all year round outside of Love Your Block. We have a very easy Google form that we have in our website, boston.gov/civic organizing. You can find information on a area that says community-led cleanups. You have a form, and we still lend all the tools. We take all the tools to the sites, and we also do the trash management for the residents. So all we ask of the residents is to engage, talk to their neighbors, and come out and beautify their own areas. But it happens all year round.
Thank you. And, I'd be remiss if, as a city councilor, I didn't say that there are room for improvement in some ways. One of the, and this is a very specific case, but Boston Water and Sewer Commission is obviously quasi-public, so because of that, oftentimes city councilors don't really get notifications about work happening. And being on one of the streets that was terrorized for a year and a half with, just utility and different things happening, I'm very sensitive to the needs of neighbors around just any work that's being done on our streets, especially when it's not through the city, because the city is usually updating us, but I think that's sort of those special cases. So just wanted to highlight, we could do additional coordination, I think, with the city council and maybe anyone within the city around notification around Boston Water and Sewer Commission stuff, because we are experiencing a lot of that in Beacon Hill. So I'm just from the ground level experiencing it in my own neighborhood, but just flagging that in case it's helpful for when you do get any notifications, just thinking through like who might want to and benefit from that information as well.
No, thank you, Counselor. I think that's definitely something we can bring back to the streets team and figure out how to make sure we're better notifying either the council or community.
And when I do reach out to Boston Water and Sewer Commission, they are really responsive, but oftentimes they give us a site plan that I, as a non-engineer, don't really know how to read. So it's also just making sure that those tools are with a non-engineer brain able to be looked at. I mean, I've sent some of this to constituents and they're like, what is this? So just, translating maybe plans into writing. And I know we're running out of time, but I know the District 8 coffee hours are all coming up, so I'm really excited. I've been sharing those and look forward to seeing a lot of community orgs there, but please count me in as a partner to build for any of those events. I think they're just incredibly important for making sure that city residents have access to city resources. And I love seeing everyone from the city out there, especially the zero waste sustainability team with the reusable bags and the utensils. I'm always going up to that for another round of utensils for my council office. So really appreciate all of your work, and thank you all for your for all the work that you provide to the city, and look forward to working in partnership.
Thank you. I just have a few questions, but thank you guys for all the work that you do for the city, your dedication. Beyond the improvements from having a newer City on the Go truck, are we changing or upgrading what we offer on the truck?
So we're definitely keeping the services as is, and there's definitely always room for improvement on services. So if you have any direct feedback on that, I think we're willing to hear that and see. But I don't know if you want to add to some of the services that we do have.
No, at the moment we have no plans of expanding what the services are. We offer pretty much everything that you can do on the website or have to come to City Hall for, but we understand our elder community or our immigrant community or community in general are not able to come 9 to 5 to City Hall, so we wanted to make it as convenient as possible for them. But if, again, like Chief said, if you have any direct feedback as to what you envision, I would love to hear.
Awesome. Happy to talk offline on that. And how often will we operate the truck? Is it 5 days, 7 days?
With a new truck, I think we want to be out there all the time.
All the time.
What's all the time?
Yeah.
So if I can speak a little bit more on that. So the current truck that we have is pretty old. Mm-hmm. So it spends more time being repaired than actually in the street. Mm-hmm. So out of the year, last year, I think we only were able to access it for about 4 months and a half out of the entire year. So it is problematic for us because we really want to create a very well thought out route that, service every single neighborhood at least 5 to 7 stops a week.
Got it. All right. Awesome. And then, if I heard correctly, there was like a 311 summit?
Civic Summit.
Yeah.
Not the Civic Summit.
No, the director went to a 301 training to learn best practices. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, we'd love to hear some of the best practices that we're looking to bring back to the city.
Yes, thank you, Counselor. A lot of the things that we learned this time are just improvement of systems, as we spoke before. Boston is obviously one of the oldest cities, and we were one of the first to do many things. And I think because we were the first to do a lot of things, sometimes other departments have learned, or other 301s have learned from us. So it was cool being there and everyone saying, you were the first to do this, and we learned so much from you. And they've taken and run with it to now be better in a way. And now I'm learning from them. Not only did I get to go to the 301 conference, but I actually went to go visit the Dallas 301 office too. And just learning the difference between 301 offices is really cool too, the dynamic of it. I think what people don't realize is Boston has actually had the mayor's constituent hotline for decades. I think in the 80s we started one. It was just rebranded as 311 to follow the nationwide trend. Whereas other offices, 311 was created so that it was a leeway from 911 and emergency services to take those non-emergency calls. So learning kind of how different 311s were was really cool, and seeing what we can take and implement from those aspects. Like the City Hall to Go truck, Dallas actually has it, and we were able, and it brands 311 on there too. So that's another part where we were talking, I'm like, this is so cool. We need a truck. They had computers on the truck for constituents to look at. And so it was, the constituent could just go right on and use the computer right there, because obviously internet is also an issue for people to have access to. So little things like that I can bring back and also make those connections with other 311s where I can go back and say, hey, how do you staff your call center? What do you do for best practices? And I'm really excited to go forward and implement some of those things now.
Yes, no, sounds like a lot of exciting stuff. And on 311, I think what would be useful for me as someone who's advocating for budget or trying to create policy or legislation, is it possible for you guys to share that information, like what our constituents are calling about, right? Because if there's, more calls on, roading control, or there's more calls on speeding, or, whatever it is, I think it would be helpful for this body to kind of understand where, the complaints or what people are experiencing so that we can then either put money towards it or trying to figure out how can we address it as a city council.
Yeah, thank you for that question. All our data is actually public. Okay. It's at data.boston.gov, and anyone can go in and see it. But if you ever have, sometimes you might have issues navigating it, please reach out to us. Our data analytics manager is always happy to help. We've sent out reports to many counselors.
What's the site again?
Data.boston.gov.
Okay.
And you can actually find various reports on there. Sometimes, like the permits that we were talking about, there's permitting and off-hour permitting if you guys are ever having issues about that. We get the calls, obviously, when people are complaining about it, but it's an easy way to find a lot of data there, too. And for everyone listening in from residents, if you're ever curious, data.boston.gov is a great spot to kind of start and look at that data.
Awesome. And then, Chief, a lot of reorganization of ONS. What were the goals? Have some of those issues been resolved because of the reorganization? Love for you to just speak to that.
So the goal is one of the key goals, like I mentioned earlier, is to really support our personnel and our team, and that was always at the center of a lot of the reorganization that we did. So expanded our deputy director model to make sure that there was more hands-on care and attention to each liaison, but also support for the director. It's a lot to manage. I think it's I'll pass it over to Beata to give more numbers, but it's really to make sure that the liaisons feel more deeply supported and that there's a lineage of how to solve cases. But I want to pass it over to Beata to answer more.
I'm happy to jump in. Thank you, Counselor. One of the things, just to talk to the council president's point earlier, is just institutional knowledge and how some of that can sometimes get lost when there are staff transitions. And so one of the things that I've loved about the deputy director model is we were very intentional and lucky to have that every single one of our deputy directors is a former liaison themselves. And so they're bringing not only their own network, their own institutional knowledge about how the office works, but then they're able then to translate that to the staff. I give so much kudos to Councilor Pepin for having 20 direct reports when he was in my role. I think the current model where I have 4 deputies that report to me and then 16 below them. So it's, about 5 or 6, depending, because our community engagement specialist team's only 3 folks, obviously. But in that regard, I think there's just so much more structure in place that not only support the liaisons and can help to our burnout and retention within the organization, but then that also benefits residents when you have folks staying in those roles longer.
Awesome, thanks. And just end on this. We'd love to continue the conversations that we had in the last hearing, whether it's the website, the trainings for civics. So just looking for those conversations.
Definitely, I definitely do. We've already kickstarted that with making sure we're connected to do it. So hopefully we can make sure to collaborate on that.
Awesome, thank you. And I see my Councilor Anderson is here.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess I just wanted to understand more. I mean, I think that it sounds like someone has touched on this, but you can let me know. In terms of interdepartmental collaborations or working together, I have a specific idea about ONS in its role in connecting with the Office of Equity, in connecting with public health, considering that public health has the data, the numbers to speak to the harm or the deficits, And equity has a responsibility on policy to work on whether it's investments in social determinants of health or services or direct programming. And then ONS has a responsibility then to tie all of that together and make it transparent and communicate or outreach or engagement. And so how have you thought of this? Have you started working with equity and public health to be able to create this racial equity campaign in Boston, in the city of Boston, to dismantle our systemic racist structures?
Thank you, Counselor, for the question. I think that's something we definitely can look into. The Equity Cabinet is our direct neighbor, so we partner with them on a lot of things. But I think we could, definitely look into what this project looks like, for sure.
Thank you so much. I think, on a granular level, we're inundated with responsibilities, so everybody's ripping and running and working overtime, right? But if we can be more, intentional in terms of analytically looking at what the umbrella is or what the web looks like, so that we can connect all of these services and create more intentional infrastructure to be able to build racial equity in Boston, is a huge interest of mine, and happy to talk to that and whatever I can lend. In terms of promoting civic engagement, I think I'm really interested in more of, I know you've thought about initiatives and ways, and you come in and you're excited and you want to take the bull by the horn, but can you tell me if you've thought about benchmarks and metrics in terms of delivery, just figuring out okay, I know I want to do this, but how do I then measure my progress and communicate that?
Can you, do you mean with different programs that we have currently?
Yeah, you have all these programs currently, and I know you're doing the work.
Right.
Tell me about if you can build out metrics to monitor the progress, so that a year from now I come back to you and you say, here's our dashboard, and this is how we know we have improved civic engagement.
I definitely think there is opportunity to collaborate on more quantifying more metrics, but one of the key pieces to a lot of the work that the civic organizing department does is we really tag on to the goal. For example, our goal is to do this many cleanups in every single neighborhood. We have exceeded that, as we see. Specifically with the Civic Summit, we did outline certain metrics, not just of attendance, but of surveys after, and making sure we're getting feedback on more qualitative experience. That's kind of a lot of the metrics that we do collect is anecdotal and qualitative, what is the quality of the programming that we're giving out. One of the things that we have been working on is in conjunction or as a response to the Civic Summit is thinking deeply about, as we aspire to build capacity in OCO, is a training program. What does that look like, and what are the benchmarks for that? So there's definitely opportunity to have more deeper conversations on what are the metrics for the training sessions and seminars, but wanting to really anchor in the fact that we do collect anecdotal qualitative data.
That's helpful.
Yeah.
It's a great start, and I think I guess as you go into it, then you look at within that structure what's equitable, right?
Right.
Underrepresented communities, youth engagement, all of that stuff, right? So looking forward to that. In terms of community representation, how does your office ensure that neighborhoods, especially those historically underrepresented, have a voice in city decisions? And if you can give me an example of how community feedback has directly influenced policy or program changes. You get a lot of complaints, but I want to hear from you, like a positive story, as an example of here's where we heard of a problem. It's particularly with underrepresented communities, and then we implemented that, and this is how we were able to do that.
I definitely want to answer that question, but I know that Natalia wanted to add to the previous question. Do you want to add to it?
Thank you, Councilor, for your question. Since the Office of Civic Organizing has been in office for about 3 years, we've been able to acquire data each year and the different initiatives, and we have absolutely seen the growth and the success of initiatives such as Love Your Blog, the Civic Summit, which sold out completely in under 12 hours for 200 civic leaders. We ended up having about 380 people in the wait list. So we know there's a huge appetite for, more programming from our office, and we're definitely looking closer to maintaining good data to make sure that we're serving our communities.
And to your second question, Councilor, one of the things that is a constant thought through our cabinet, both in, I would say specifically through one in ONS, is identifying themes that we're seeing and trends that we're seeing in each neighborhood. One of the things that I'm thinking about is I remember being at a community meeting in Roxbury, and a constituent was like, "Oh, like what is what's happening with like EV charging stations or stuff like that." So making sure that feedback gets back to our streets team and our environment and open space team as well, to think through there is somewhat of an appetite here in certain neighborhoods, and that's just like one example of a lot of the feedback and themes that we do bring back, especially when we're seeing either large numbers or we're seeing kind of a trend of people wanting to participate. So that's why we do encourage people to connect with 301, connect with their neighborhood liaisons, because we want to make sure that we're giving the different departments that anchor the work, the experience and anecdotal data or experiences that are happening in the neighborhoods.
Thank you. I have 20 more questions.
Do you have more questions?
I have 20 more questions on 311, just one. Not a question, but an update, I guess. We spoke with Do It, and they didn't show interest. They expressed that it is possible to create a button in the app that allows constituent to have say whether or not they want their counselor to be privy to the inquiry. And so since this is possible, I wonder then if we can continue the conversation on this, and if it's something that you want us to drive in terms of policy, then fine. But I would love to continue our work. I know we've been meeting about this. They would click, yes, I want my counselor to know, and then we would have our own platform where we, right? And then we would have the list of that, because by the time they get to us, they're frustrated. They're not coming to us initially. They're going to 301. 301 is doing everything they can. They send it to departments. If departments are not answering, then they contact us. And if we know ahead of time, and if something that is pressing, time sensitive, then we can follow up. That's a conversation to be continued. Another thing, a Hokie, I met a woman who was telling me about how her schedule starts at 3 in the morning. She has to get to work at 4 at Phil's Corner to clean up our streets. A lovely woman. And she was telling me, hey, maybe collecting information on compliments, not just complaints. And so I thought that was sweet, because if our workers work in the city and they're doing the work for the people, and the very people they live next to are complaining about their work, why not get compliments, right? So I know that's for Do It, but also for you, obviously. Iggy, looking forward.
I think I know exactly who you're talking about too. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Did I just name all of her situation?
Yeah, but we do get compliments, not as often as complaints, of course. And I do think that's important to highlight as well.
Is there a feature in the app to do that?
There is. You can actually go to the app. It says, how are we doing? Oh. And when you also submit a case and you put an email on there, you can follow your case by case open and case closure if you leave your contact info, your email. You'll get that email, and at the bottom of the email it says feedback survey, and you can respond to how the case was handled that way as well.
Oh, okay. All right, well, I'll have to start teaching my constituents.
Just oftentimes people usually would only say something when they're not happy, But there are a lot of people that call in to 311 and compliment the staff, and we'll send it off to the departments.
Well,
that
if it's not broken, why fix it? Why should I complain? No. But I have to take that advice for myself in compliments, and starting with that. I look forward to talking with you more in terms of, how I feel my office can work with you guys. I feel like I've gotten access every time I needed it. And we did a study. We actually looked at how fast you guys respond to Roxbury in comparison, because people had notions, obviously, with historic mistrust and stuff like that. But Roxbury landed somewhere in the middle. There was no discrepancy of who's getting answered first. It wasn't a thing. So I appreciate that. I sent you the report. I don't know if you took a look at it. But that's all I have. And if I have any other questions, I'll submit it through the chair. Thank you so much for your work, all of you. Nice meeting you. And looking forward to more. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Again, thank you guys for all your work and your dedication to the city of Boston. Also want to just thank my council colleagues, central staff, my team, BPD, for being here in this hearing on docket number 0670 through 0678 is adjourned.
Thank you. I just